Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land. I'm the Moorish Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. God dang, you're right. Moorish Empire. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Moorish Empire. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. The late evening U.S. people.
She met him at a home one night. Said, let's start with a kiss, it'll be alright. But now she might have a bun in the oven times two, and neither of them knows what to do. It's a blow by blow. Who's the daddy show? Is it twins from a blowjob? Oh, I don't know. Paternity tests and lawyers in sight. This crazy situation just ain't right. He swears he's not the one to blame. Says it's biologically insane. But she's pointing fingers, shouting loud while the lawyers gather in the legal crowd. It's a blow by blow. Who's the daddy show? Is it twins from a blowjob? Oh, I don't know. Paternity tests and lawyers in sight. This crazy situation just ain't right. Now legal advice says he takes a drink. Says let's settle this without the legal stink. He challenges her lawyer. Please be better. We don't need another bad letter. So let's raise a glass to this legal brawl. May sanity prevail and pride take a fall. Twins from a blowjob, what have you to hide? But let's find some peace, let your conscience be your guide.
Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with, however good it feels and however many times you're going to do it, as long as you use protection or a dental dam. I'm just glad you're doing it here with me on my little old channel I like to call Legal Vices. How are we doing? We are here. It's been a long day. We're doing super, super awesome. As some of you can already hear, there is a snoring dog at my feet. The dog snores have already begun. I took him to the office with me today because the cleaning lady was here on a Tuesday instead of a Friday. So they're all tuckered out from not getting their all day long nap. Well, first of all,
Want to say hey to the Aussie Raiders. Welcome, Aussie Raiders. Aussie Overlord gave us a good old raid there. Welcome, people. As always, hit that like and subscribe button on your way. And if you haven't already done so, right now we got 284 people and 115 likes. Again, only about 40% of you done your job. Get down in there. Everybody hit that like button. Let's keep us up. Let's keep us up with the 300 likes. We need to do 300 likes right now. And as always, if you're not subscribed, do me the honor. Subscribe. You won't regret it. Well, I hope you don't regret it. You shouldn't regret it. But even if you do, just leave yourself subscribed. You never have to look at me again. But I hope you'll come back every day for more. And if you are, again, as always, if you are already subscribed, just double check to make sure you still are. And we've got our like and subscribe poll up for today. And that's the gist of what we want to talk about today. We're going to go through some more blog posts, some more posts from David Gingras, Laura Owens' lawyer. We're going to talk about things maybe a little different than we've been talking about them in the past. My hat's on wonky. There we go. Maybe a little different than when the way we've been talking about it so far. I think we need to give it a serious look at, professional to professional, lawyer to lawyer. I got things to say, and I'm going to say them today. And I hope they're taken in the spirit that they're meant to be taken in. Well, let's look at our like and subscribe poll, and you can see where we're going to go with this. Today's like and subscribe poll, again, it's a little poll we do every day just to remind you to do all the YouTubey stuff. Is Lawyer Gingras redeemable in your eyes? Is he redeemable in your eyes? 70. I'm actually kind of disappointed in 70% of you said he's too far gone. I'm kind of disappointed in that 70% that have said that so far. 17% of you said he can be if he tries. Fair enough. 7% of you say his redemption arc is inevitable. He's going to be brought kicking and screaming into the light. And 6% of you said he's cool, he's fine, he needs no redemption. We'll see how that goes. We'll check in another hour or so and see how the poll is starting to shape up. All this back and forth, all this fun, all the jokes, all the humor, and I firmly believe there are very, very few topics that are off limits to joke about. When they're happening to you in the immediacy, they're not all that particularly funny. As someone who, by the way, my hand is starting to heal nicely. The burns are starting to darken up, as you can see. Had the big blister here on my hand that popped naturally today, sort of leaked out and oozed out and starting to dry out. We're keeping the cream on it, but as you can see, it's starting to darken up. It's starting to heal up. No pain whatsoever. The swelling's gone down. We're all fine. But at the moment when the flames are still hot, when the arm is still burning, when you're still in that initial what the F just happened adrenaline rush, and people are laughing and making jokes, it wasn't funny at all. And I snapped at one friend and who was laughing the hardest. And I don't really think this is all that funny right now. So when you're in that immediacy, it's not funny. But a few minutes later, when they're setting up Elmo and fire memes, then it was funny. And humor helps. I think it helps deal with weird situations, because if you just report them as weird situations, it can get heavy, it can get dark, it can just get really odd. But humor kind of opens things up, and it's good to laugh. It's good to laugh at yourself. And I don't think there's really a lot of things, as I said, that are completely off limits. Barbecue arm off limits? Are you kidding? Have you not seen my Twitter feed? Jeez, did you not see chat the last 2 days? No, it's how I kind of feel about this situation. It's been going on for a few months here on my channel and longer elsewhere, and since time immemorial on Dave Neal's stream. But Now it's, and I don't know how to say this without sounding pretentious, but I mean, if non-lawyers, people in the pit, the laymen, the people that just are normal, everyday citizens, have at each other. I don't care. It's what non-lawyers say to each other about each other. It's not there. But as I've said in many other cases, either we've handled the trials we've watched and just other cases in general. As a lawyer, when you're involved in a case, you have to be above. You have to be above things. You have to be better. You have to be better than people expect you to be. Because as we have talked a lot about with Judge Grudge in particular, in relation to the Hales case, you make the entire profession look bad. When I'm a lawyer acting as a lawyer and I go about doing my lawyerly stuff, and if I act like a jackass, that lowers everybody's view of all lawyers. We get all lumped into the all lawyers are jackasses category. Same whether if you're like an Uber driver, you get a bad Uber driver, and all Uber drivers are just they just suck. If the garbage man, if he knocks over one of your garbage cans or breaks it or something, all garbage men suck. We tend to generalize and lump things, and lawyers get at the word. Everybody hates lawyers. Everybody hates lawyers until they need one. And then suddenly the lawyers you hate, the lawyers you joke about, the lawyers you make fun of, they're suddenly you want one for your best friend. But we have to keep that professionalism about us. It's required of us. Every jurisdiction's rules of ethics in the states that I've ever seen requires lawyers to not behave in a way that brings disrepute or it doesn't cast the profession in a negative light. And I think we're getting personal with this. And it started out really funny. It started out amusing until over last weekend. Right at the end of last week or over the weekend, whenever this most recent post of his came out, I didn't see the humor in it at all. And so I want to just go through the recent things that we haven't really talked about. I've only done one show really about Gingras. I've been on Tug's show and Megan's show to talk about it other times, but on mine, it was only that one 6.5 hour show we did a couple weeks ago. But I want to go through the last few posts and things and talk about them and kind of break them down that way. But before we get into that, before we jump straight into the business at hand here, I want to welcome Wilkes, who's the newest member of the Clean and Sober crew. You welcome aboard. I hope you'll stay for a while. I hope you'll be here for a long time. And Tracy Fagan, how are you doing? Thank you for the morning cup of coffee. Off topic. Can a judge require a jury to continue to deliberate after giving an Allen charge? That's a good question. I don't have a good answer to that. I mean, by and large, judges can tell people to do as much as they want. They say, you just keep going and just give it a little more time. The Allen charge is kind of that's the nuclear option. That's a very good question. Do you want to go nuclear? You can't force someone to vote against their conscience. That's not right. You can't coerce people to change their ideas, to change their opinions based on whatever. Yeah, That's a very interesting question. It's a little beyond the scope of what we're going to talk about today. Remind me, that might be a good topic for Friday. Thank you so much. I don't see why not, but I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere, right? All right. Anyway, so there's so much to think about there. All right. Sorry. Dang it, Tracy. You totally got my mind off track here. I'm going to take your comment down and remind me like on a Friday stream or something when we're not talking about a particular subject. And we can talk about, that's kind of interesting. We can talk a little bit about what the nuclear option is, the Allen trade. Yeah, Adara the Wholesome, thank you so much for the $2. 30-second recap. I don't know who this is. I came for the food. Oh, this is the tale of the woman Lynette Owens. God damn it, Laura Owens, who, according to Clayton Echard, the Bachelor, from the TV show The Bachelor, one of the Bachelors said, "Hey, I just got 2 blowjobs in one night. We never did anything that would get her pregnant, but she claims after just a few days that she was pregnant with his twins, one male and one female." And this is all about the paternity suit. She alternatively seems to have claimed that her pregnancy was the result of intimate relations. She hasn't defined that. Intercourse, ARP, the bad word, the ARP word, and things like that. She hasn't really specifically said. And once we got past the 6-month mark and the judge started getting very, very curious about exactly when she was supposed to have lost the twins, because in Arizona, you have a 6-month window. After 6 months, it's no longer a miscarriage. It's a stillbirth, and you have to provide death certificates. And she didn't have any of those, so then she may have lost the babies in October, maybe September, maybe even July, although she didn't file for paternity until August. So yeah, we're trying to make sense of it. And that's part of the problem we've got here with the lawyer, with David Gingras. Part of the problem is that I don't think he really knows what story to go with. But I mean, that's not a problem in and of itself. The problem comes when, and he's good at it because he gets people to do it. When presented with a contradiction, when presented, okay, there's this and this, it's very easy to go, oh, well, I don't know. I'm not aware of that. Why don't you fill me in? And then people take the bait. They give him all the arguments, and that allows him to prepare for the next step. So good on him. He's clever for doing that. You can't fault him for good representation. Mavia with the $5. Only Jeff can manage to look like the bargain version of himself on a fire sale. Okay, I thought I was looking okay today. I didn't know I was looking like the bargain version of myself at a fire sale. Dang, that kind of hurt. I thought I was looking okay today. I'm not. All right. Well, this is it. I don't know what more you want. This is as good as it gets, I'm afraid. Aussie Overlord with the $5 Aussie bucks. Stop circling the drain and show us the flaming Elmo. Show us on the flaming Elmo where gangrene hurt you. And Adara the Wholesome with another $2. Oh, I see. She has room temperature IQ then in C. Well, we don't know. The big hearing is coming up on June 10th. So we'll find out. We'll get all of our answers on June 10th at the latest. But in the meantime, let's go back here in time and look at some stuff. And sorry, as you can hear, the dogs are snoring away there. So, enjoy that. Listen to the sound effects of the dog. All right, I want to bring up this article that was written on his blog on April 16th called "What Does Justice for Clayton Look Like? Let Me Tell You." This was sort of starting to get to be a turning point. in the humor versus come on scale. And we're going to be talking about that a lot tonight. Professionalism and being above it, being better. David Gingras, April 16th, 2024. If you're following the Owens v. Echard case, oh, it's got a link. I didn't know how to link. Okay, that's a link to the court docket. Right, got it. See, the thing is, on a lot of court dockets, you can go visit the court docket, and they'll have all the documents there, and you can just download the documents. Maricopa County doesn't do that. You actually have to physically go into the court to get the filings. Unless, and I will give David Gingras points, he does upload his motions to his little blog thing. So again, kudos to him. He's being open about it. He's being transparent about the filings. It's the things surrounding the filings and oftentimes the filing themselves that I have a little bit of a problem with. So if you're following the Owens v. Echard case, you have probably seen a lot of folks talking about how they went to see justice for Clayton. There's a JFC Twitter account. There's a JFC GoFundMe page. I'm guessing JFC t-shirts are next. Idea, JFC condoms. See, that's unnecessary. That's unnecessary. You know, keep it. You don't have to go there. There was the line. I'm guessing JFC t-shirts are next. That was where the line was. And then idea, JFC condoms. Why didn't he say JFC dental dams? It's just an unnecessary dig. And I think when you're a lawyer trying to be professional, see, and I get frustrated. I get frustrated when I see this. All right, look. This is what I wanted to talk about for quite a while, about dealing with this. You know, if I were to be, and he's doing PR here, I don't think he's doing so much PR for her as he's doing it for himself. He's trying to get exposure for himself. Maybe he's doing a great deal of it for his client as well, for Laura Owens. But if I was Laura Owens, I wouldn't want him behaving like this online. I wouldn't want him to be saying things like this and making people hate me more than they already do. And on the other side, if he's doing a promotion for himself, I don't think this makes him look good. If I were lawyer shopping and I saw a lawyer that was not doing this and a lawyer that was writing things like this, I wouldn't choose this guy. Because I'd be like, oh, come on. It's, you know what I mean? It doesn't make him look good, and it doesn't make his client look good, and it's not going to convince. I don't think he's trying to convince anyone, because he's got to know that writing like this and talking like this is not going to sway people over to his opinion. He's not going to take some of the the diehard JFC fans and start talking about, oh yeah, maybe we're going to have condoms next, and they're going to go, oh, I guess you're right. I should believe you and your client. It's not It's not persuasive. It's not helpful to his client, and it's certainly not helpful to him and his reputation. I guess it was Oscar Wilde that said, maybe it's this approach. Oscar Wilde said the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Might just be, I don't know, but it makes me uncomfortable as a professional. I'm not sure if I'm part of the Pond Scum posse or not. I mean, the Pond Scum posse has adopted me. So, one of us, Megan and Tug and Dave, they've adopted me, at least as an honorary Pond Scum member, the Pond Scum posse member. But I'm not sure if when he talks about the Pond Scum posse, if he's talking about me. I don't know. But anywho. But what exactly does justice for Clayton look like? At the end of the day, all that happened here from a legal perspective is Laura hooked up with a guy, Clayton, who she thought was interested in her. See, we're still hedging our bets. We're still we're still couching things vaguely. See, MG Law says I'm right there with you, and I think all normal, decent lawyers are. There might be some douche canoe 2.0 lawyers out there that think otherwise and that enjoy, causing more problems than they solve. But I don't know. I like to think that all decent, normal lawyers would be involved in trying to be better. But Laura hooked up. What does hooked up with a guy mean? Again, does that mean they orally copulated? There was and he's definitely said he's going with the art view of the case. So if my client was ARPed by someone or essayed by someone, I wouldn't describe that as hooking up with. So yeah, it causes mixed emotions if you just read this in isolation. But if you read it in the context of everything else he's written and you look at it as a whole, it's very contradictory. It's very confusing. So Laura hooked up with a guy, Clayton, who she thought was interested in her. Sadly, it turned out the feelings were not mutual. Sucks. I want to think he didn't do that intentionally.
Phrasing.
Sucks, but that's life. Sadly, it turned out the feelings were not mutual. Yeah, well, there was hundreds of texts and emails sent, which kind of is a little bit stalkery, Scarlett Sullivan says he's gaslighting us. I think there's some of that. I think there's some gaslighting. I also think there's a lot of, like I said, fishing for help to deal with his case, fishing for what arguments. And this is why I say don't engage. If you don't like the other side, not even just this case, if you don't like the other side in a lawsuit, don't engage with them. Because if you say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? They're anticipating the arguments that are going to be made in court, and you allow them time to prepare. So if you don't want to help the other side, don't engage with the other side, because anything you say indicates what people are thinking about a particular case. So what happened here from a legal perspective? We're looking at the legal perspective here. Laura claims she got pregnant. Yes, she does. She claims she got pregnant, and she did exactly what you would expect. She tried to talk to Clayton about the situation. And she did. And he said, from a young father, I'll do whatever I can. I'll support, but I want nothing to do with the kid. I'm not going to see the kid, but I will do it. I'll take responsibility if it's mine. And he's the only one that has not, to the best of my knowledge, changed his story regarding what happened. Okay, he did say there was one BJ, and then later on there was a second BJ he mentioned. But other than that, he's maintained it was only a BJ, and there was no penetrative involvement, we'll just call it. So he's always claimed that there was no way he could conceive of that she was pregnant.
Hey, phrasing.
There was no way that he could conceive of that she would be pregnant. She did exactly what he was expected. She tried to talk to Clayton about the situation. Yes, I know some people think she didn't handle this very well. And by some people, I guess he means everybody. He even said that, well, if she would have had a lawyer, they probably would have been cautioned not to say that. Yeah, she did not handle it well at all. That's fair. And I'm not judging your harsh opinions of Laura, but he kind of is. He's condescending, unnecessarily so, about people that have harsh opinions of her. Of course, maybe you'd have a different view if you walked a mile in her shoes, as the saying goes. If she's a victim and you're sympathetic towards her, I can see that. But if you don't think she's a victim, if you think she's the wrongdoer in this case, I don't know why you'd want to walk a mile in her shoes. And before we get into the next paragraph here, Anju Zelda. Was this the same case where the lawyer got mad for the rejection of the lunch offer? Yes, this is filed. I think he wrote this on the same day he wrote the response to the motion to compel lunch. So this is the same case, same lawyer. And Sonia Chris with that $20. Thank you so much. The issue I have with the dude is he's acting like the stereotypical evil lawyer with the word games and the straw man arguments. If he apologizes for the obituary comment, then there may be redemption, but I doubt it. Well, and that's what I'm talking about. You don't have to go full evil lawyer. There, a long time ago, I mean, like a long time ago when I was in law school. So this was, I think it was in 95, 96. There was a show called One, I believe it was something like that. It was a TV series. It was one season long. I really can't remember what it was called, but it was one season long, and it took a case, because what I always hate, that's why the worst thing about the lawyer related TV programs that I can't stand is how they go in and something happens, whether it's a criminal thing or a civil thing, and within 2 weeks they're in court and a jury's been seated and there's a decision, when it would take years to do it. But what this series did is it took a case from the beginning to the end. And so the pilot was what happened, and the final episode was the judgment. And there was one scene in there where a lawyer was being evil lawyer guy, and another lawyer said, you can be a zealous advocate, you can be a good lawyer without being a jackass. And I think that's what a lot of lawyers, and I would expect this from a young lawyer, someone who grew up watching the TV shows, who grew up watching the evil lawyer. Yeah, you have to come in swinging. I remember I did that the very first time I was set free on my own to make a basically what was a cease and desist phone call. And literally it was the very first call I ever made as a lawyer once I'd been set off my leash. And it went as badly as you could expect. I called up the other lawyer and I said something along the lines of, don't you understand that what you're doing is illegal? And if my client does not have X back within the next 30 minutes, I will go straight to the police, and then I will file criminal charges with my client in tow against your client, and we'll see how you like that. And I hung up the phone. And 10 minutes later, I got a phone call from another lawyer going, so I heard you were a jackass to so-and-so. And I went, yeah, I kind of sounded like a douche canoe, didn't I? And I learned literally day one that I sounded like an idiot. And you don't need to be evil lawyer guy, because it makes you look dumb, and it makes you the laughing stock. Oh, Danielle, I was full of piss and vinegar, and I thought that's how lawyers acted, until it was literally 10 minutes later. Another lawyer, a mutual friend, me and the other lawyer, I guess, goes, so heard you were being a jackass, man. I sure was. And he just sort of gave me that, yeah, you don't need to do that. It just causes problems. And he was right. But here's the thing. Oh, thank you very much, Daniel, for that comment. Here's the thing before we get into the thing. Tammy Fayed, Pretty Jeff plus ASMR plus Vice Squad equals awesomeness. Thank you, Tammy Fayed, for the $2. Getting right there in your ear. Okay. Now that I've got that out of my system, thank you very much for the support, guys. Well, this is what we're talking about, Ozzy, Justin, Jen. Gingras does not behave appropriately as a lawyer attorney. I think there is a lot to that, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to break all of this down and just give you my perspective on how we can all be better, including him. Because dang it, I don't even know if he's going to watch this or what, or have minions watch it or what. I don't know if he's even going to care, but he might be a great guy. He might be a fun guy that would be great to go out and have drinks with. He might be a fun guy to sit down and talk shit with. He might have a great personality when he's not being lawyer guy, but I don't know. That personality doesn't shine through. At least I hope it doesn't. I hope this isn't his real everyday personality. And I'm all about being authentic, whether it's out on the street, whether it's professionally, whether it's here on stream talking to you guys. I don't like to put on airs. I don't like to put on performances. I don't like to be anything other than I am, because I know how to be me really, really well. I'm exceptionally good at being me, but I kind of suck at other people. Yeah, acting doesn't go well for me because there's times when I don't want to be whatever I'm acting as, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm supposed to be angry guy. Or, oh, I'm supposed to be sad guy. I am what I am. And I think if you maintain that authenticity and you present yourself as you are, you get the respect, and you don't come off as such an arrogant, unlikable person. He might be a great guy, but it's not coming through if he is, because it's being masked by all of this screed that gets put up online. But then again, I mean, he could be this miserable of a person, this vindictive and nasty of a person. I hope not, which is why if he's not, I want to see a redemption arc. I really do. Is the last lawyer, the last male lawyer he had, the one that wrote the letter to Woodnick saying, basically, gee, what have I gotten myself into? And Woodnick writing back going, hey, I know you've probably have a little bit of shell shock going on here, but I hope we can still be friends and have a cool time afterwards. That's how lawyers act with each other. That's how opponent lawyers act. You're like, look, you're representing your client. I'm representing my client. Let's be normal. We're still colleagues. We're still friends. It's not personal. But I'm not getting that here, and it's kind of distressing. Ozzy Overlord says, how do you know there's an elephant under your bed? Your head hits the ceiling. All right, so clearly Hayden's not paying attention. All right. I thought he was going to have something insightful and lawyerly to say. Nope, just elephant jokes. But again, speaking of authenticity, Hayden can't help but being Hayden, and we love Hayden. Hayden is hilarious. Thanks, Hayden, for the unexpected comment. That was funny. Right. He said, to be fair, I deleted that. I don't know. I'm not looking at the stream thing. I don't know. I just saw it on StreamYard. Anyway, no, it was fun. That was funny. All right. Laura claims she got pregnant, and she did exactly what you'd expect. She tried to talk to Clayton about the situation. Yes, I know some people think she didn't handle this very well. That's fair, and I'm not judging you. Walk a mile in her shoes, all this thing. But here's the thing. This is a very strange twist of fate, but I have walked a mile in Clayton's shoes, literally. Well, what on earth could that mean? I know that most of you know what's coming up next year, but he's going to draw some parallels. Jason J says, Jeff, I respectfully disagree. I've been an asshole all my adult life, and it's kept me alive all this time. I can't and won't change the brutal honesty that I have. Well, see, you can be brutally honest and still not be an abrasive asshole that everybody hates. I mean, Clint Eastwood's a good example. He's not the one that's out there in his movies going, you can't do that. What about the girl? There's a little girl here. I'm going to kill you. Or no, he's going to, what about the rights of that little girl? And then you get shot. He's very soft-spoken. He's very direct. He's very honest. Yeah, that's why I like the Clint Eastwood movies, because he's never agitated. He's never the yelly, screamy type. He just always gives you the Clint Eastwood voice. He's preparing people for combat. The AK-47 makes a distinctive sound, or the Kalashnikov, or whatever the hell it was, Hamburger Hill. Anyway, you know what I mean. So he's saying he has literally walked a mile in her shoes. In his shoes. Put on the pumps, ladies. Let's go. But here's the thing. This is a very strange twist of fate, but I have walked a mile in Clayton's shoes, literally. When I was in my mid-20s, I hooked up with a girl on spring break. Fair enough. Who didn't? Days later, she called and said those two words you just don't want to hear in that situation. I'm pregnant. Yeah, and I questioned whether or not this actually happened to our intrepid young Gingras, but there's proof later on down the line. I've been in that situation twice, very, very briefly, very, very briefly. Nope, that was the same experience. Never mind. It was just different responses. It was this girl said, "I think I might be pregnant." She called and said, "I think I might be pregnant." And I said, number one, do not ever tell a guy you think you might be pregnant. You are or you're not. You don't ever tell someone you think you might be pregnant. And two, here's my medical certificate confirming that I had a vasectomy. So not mine. And that was the end of that. But yeah, so very briefly, I walked 100 or so steps in Clayton's shoes. What about I think I'm pregnant? Well, Billy, that's the crux of this argument, isn't it? Now, Island with the $2. It's like he wants to shame Clayton out of justice. There's some thoughts as to why it's being done. Well, so he heard those words, "I'm pregnant." Just like Clayton, my initial response was, wait a second, we only hooked up once. That's disingenuous, sir, and you know it. Clayton never said, wait a second, we only hooked up once. Clayton said something entirely different. Clayton said, wait a second, we only did blowjobs. That's much different than hooking up. Yeah, one, you penetrated. He's saying he didn't. So that's you're off on the wrong foot. And it was like 6 days ago. How can you possibly know you're pregnant that soon? It sounded impossible, but she promised me it's possible. I don't know enough about that to comment. I've heard arguments both ways, but hey, I don't know. So I'm not going to comment on whether or not it's possible. It sounded impossible, but she promised me it's possible. Unlike Clayton, my response was very different. I told this young lady first and foremost the decision about what to do was entirely up to her. Okay, that's exactly what Clayton said, basically. He said, get rid of it, hit that plan B. You hit that plan B hard. But if you do, I'll man up and I'll pay, but I ain't gonna hang out with the kid. The decision about what to do is entirely up to her. I barely knew her, but I explained if I was the father, I would absolutely do the right thing and support her in any way necessary. As a man, even a young one, I just couldn't imagine turning my back on my own child, no matter what the circumstances were. Who would do that? A lot of people. That's one of the arguments, isn't it, about abortion? If a woman can choose, if a woman has the right to choose what she does with her body, then at least a dude should be allowed to choose not to be involved. That's one of the arguments. Who would do that? It's not the child's fault that she came into this world unexpectedly. That is true. That part is true. But things happen. So the girl decided to keep the baby. 9 months later, okay, again, here's where our stories diverge. This girl decided to keep the baby. In this case, she was A, never pregnant, B, pregnant until November, C, pregnant until September or October, D, pregnant until July. There's a lot of different stories here, and we don't know which one it is. And I'll be happy once they definitively set out this is the actual story written in stone by the finger of God. We may have to wait until June 10th, and I'm waiting for it. This is one of his problems. One of Gingriss's problems is he accuses everybody. If you if you disagree with him, you're the enemy, you're pawn scum. As he said, your obituary. He wants to read your obituary, but just for a minute before he throws it in the garbage where it belongs. If you're against, if you disagree with him, you're scum, you're dirt. How is that going to make people want to agree with him? Anyway. And it's like, oh, you disagree with me because you only read one side of the story. You're brainwashed. You've drunk the Kool-Aid. You're beyond redemption, and you're pawn scum, which is entirely not the truth for everybody I know. Tug, Megan, Dave, Neil, me, anybody else that's covering this. We want both sides of the story. That's why we're reading his damn blog, so we can get both sides of the story. That's why we read his filings, so that we can see what he's saying. If it turns out that she was actually pregnant and Clayton did this, fine. I will happily report that. It does not affect me one way or the other. I will happily report her side of the story. And if any of you remember the very first time I talked about this, had Dave Neal on, we talked about this, and I cut him off immediately, just minutes into the stream. And I said, I got to say one thing right at the beginning. She is welcome on my channel anytime. I will give her equal time, 2 hours. I will give her 2 hours at the beginning to tell her story in her own words and show her own documents. She never took me up on it. The Clayton Echard side, I don't know if she has any supporters, but none of her supporters have sent me any documents. A lot of the Clayton supporters have sent me lots of documents. So it's a balance thing. Send it to me and I will effing cover it. That's why I'm talking about this. That's why we talked about it for 6.5 hours. Your filings for 6.5 hours a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I would love to hear her side of the story. I'm here for the evidence. I'm here for the legal aspects of it. Well, this is kind of a weird part of the story. This is the different part of the story that I don't know, I found amusing. She decided to keep the baby. 9 months later, she called again and asked me to send a picture of my earlobe. To my shock and surprise, apparently there are 2 types of earlobes, attached and non-attached. And this is apparently a reliable way of determining paternity. Weirdly, Google supports this. If the child has an attached earlobe and the mom does not, that means the father must have the same type as the kid because genetics. No idea if it's true, but Google seems to think it's 100% accurate. I don't know if I saw it was 100% accurate. I did hear it was reliable. Yeah, this was 1996. Phones didn't have cameras. I think that was like the infancy of camera phones. I think my Nokia flip phone had a camera on it back in 96, but I probably mailed her, but they were definitely potato cams, like the little 1-inch squares. I probably mailed her a photo taken on film and dropped off at Walgreens. Can you imagine being like the Walgreens guy going, processing photos? Because like they wouldn't remember, like, because it was 25 cents a print or something like that. If it was a bad print or something weird, they wouldn't develop it. And you go, hey, where's that picture of the earlobe? And they're like, oh, you wanted me to print that out. I thought it was a mistake. And then they'd go back and process it for you in 15, 20 minutes. But can you imagine being the guy at Walgreens going, this is a picture of a dude's ear. All right. Sometime later, I got the call. You don't have the right kind of earlobes. You can't be the dad. You are not the earlobe donor. Well, see, this is, I don't know if that's how it went down, because there's some information below here that we're going to get to that kind of contradicts that. In the year 2024, maybe I would have responded differently, but in 1996, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. I went off to law school in 1997, thinking I dodged a bullet. Okay, this is where the other information comes in. Little did I know, 10 years later in 2006, that bullet would come back. The magic bullet, it returns. I was sitting in my office on the 20th floor of an office building in Phoenix when the receptionist buzzed me. Yeah, David, there's someone here with some papers for you. Papers? By this time, I was a lawyer, and getting served with papers was hardly unusual, but not with my name listed as the respondent in a paternity establishment case. Okay, see, this is a different story. He's not walking a mile in Clayton Echard's shoes. He's sort of walking next to him, like Clayton's walking in the middle of the highway, and he's sort of walking on the sidewalk behind a guardrail where it's safe. Because Clayton is facing not a lawsuit to determine whether he is the father, not a lawsuit to determine paternity, a lawsuit seeking to hold him responsible as the father. And he's the one that's trying to establish that he's not the father. So it's not exactly the same. It's not like, who is the father? Everybody pony up their DNA. It's, you are the father and you are going to pay for my child. That's what Clayton was facing, not in a paternity establishment case. I later learned my spring break fling had some personal problems. I think she ended up applying for public health benefits for her child. When that happens, the state of Arizona asks, who's your daddy? Hey, why should Arizona taxpayers have to pay for this kid? Where's the father? Let's find him and make him pay. So they asked the mom who the dad was, and my name was given. This resulted in the Arizona Attorney General filing a paternity action against me on behalf of the Department of Economic Security. The allegation in the petition shocked me. David Gingras is the father of this poor, desperate child. David Gingras has abandoned this child. David Gingras has refused to pay any support for this child. It was harsh to see those words in a legal filing, especially since A, the mom told me I was not the father, and B, no one from the AG's office contacted me about this before the case was filed in court. Isn't there any due diligence requirement? Now we're getting a little close to the mark there, aren't we? So if you've experienced this, in a way that Clayton Echard has experienced this, you would know how it feels to be wrongfully accused of something like this. You would say, before you brought these claims against David Gingras, there should be a little due diligence done. There was no due diligence done before this was filed. There was no establishment of paternity before the lawsuit to hold him responsible as the father was filed. At least not that I'm aware of. It was harsh to see those words in a legal filing. The papers included a summons with a court date. Dun, dun, dun. The papers included a summons with a court date, so I showed up in court without a lawyer. David, you know you're not supposed to do that. Unless you were like a sole practitioner, get somebody else from your office to come down there and help you, But anyway, that's what he did. The judge, who I knew from other cases, asked me, so what do you want to do about this? Yes, it does seem like a strange question. That's an odd question for the judge to ask the respondent, what do you want to do about this? Arizona law actually allows people to voluntarily admit paternity, even if they're not the biological parent of the child. It's kind of like adoption. Some people just want to be a parent to a child, even if it's not your child. Not me. Nope. I ain't paying for somebody else's, at least not unless there's an incredible amount of love between us. And the kid's cool. Some people just want to be a parent even if it's not your child. That's what the judge meant when he asked what I wanted to do. Fair enough. He was giving me the option of just saying, yeah, I'll be the parent of this kid, even if I'm not actually her father. I'm a generous person, but I couldn't see taking responsibility for a child that wasn't mine. So I told the judge we should just take a test and see what happens. See, this sort of kind of sounds like what Clayton did, wasn't it? Hey, first prove it's mine. I don't think it's mine. Let's do some testing. Wilkes says that doesn't make sense. It should be required to do testing no matter what. I completely agree. I think that every father and every baby that's born should undergo DNA testing before the father's name is put on the birth certificate, voluntarily or otherwise. I firmly believe that. Keeps you honest. The AG had no problem, so we did a test. Why would the Attorney General be involved in this case? Why would the Attorney General be involved in a paternity case? Anyway. So we did a test, and guess what? The earlobe thing was 100% right. I was not the dad. At least for me, that was the end of that. So yes, exactly like Clayton, maybe. No, I was wrongfully. Oh, well, that's interesting. Yes. So exactly like Clayton, maybe I was wrongfully sued for paternity. Okay, he's keeping the door open. He's hedging there again. Oh, it's a child support case. All right. Yeah. Thanks, MD. Good point. So exactly like Clayton, I was wrongfully sued for maybe I was wrongfully sued for paternity. The Attorney General's allegation against me were 100% false. I did not abandon my child. I'm not a heartless deadbeat dad. But unlike Clayton, I didn't turn around and accuse the Arizona Attorney General's office of fraud. I didn't seek revenge. I didn't demand justice. Well, you kind of did, though. You kind of did demand justice. You demanded that there be a genetic test. You demanded a DNA test so that justice could be served. If you were the father, it would be just of you to take over the responsibility for that child. If you are not the father, it would be unjust to force you to do that. So you took the option to demand justice by way of a DNA test. Clayton said it's not me either. He demands justice. And I would say that Clayton has a little bit more to lose in the reputation. You didn't have people writing articles about you. You didn't have international newspapers like The Sun and the Daily Motion, like the writing articles about you. You didn't have things being broadcast about you on television. If you believe you are wrongfully accused of something and your name is literally being thrown up around the world as a deadbeat, as a womanizer, etc., you would demand justice if you were convinced you didn't do it. So I think it's a little bit different there. It's a little bit disingenuous of Gingrich to make these comments. The AG's office made a good faith mistake. They relied on the best information available, and that information turned out to be wrong. Under the law, that does not mean I was automatically entitled to sanctions, which seems to be Clayton's attitude. Not automatically. He wanted to get this thing done with a long time ago, and it's drug on, and there's been lots and lots of things. The law never, ever requires people to be 100% perfect when they file a case in court. Unless they file a motion for sanctions that didn't meet the requirements as you saw them. Then you demand that they're perfect. All that is required is a good faith basis to think your claims are probably true. True. You can sue anybody for anything. Fact. You just have to be able to prove it and face the consequences if you can't. If you can clear that super low hurdle, no judge will ever sanction you just because your claims turn out to be wrong. No, not just because your claims turn out to be wrong. Maybe they won't. But if you maliciously and hypothetically fabricate evidence and submit that to the court, if you say don't show up for a subpoena, you don't show up for a deposition or something like that costs you money and damages you financially and is also improper, yeah, you get sanctions and possibly lawyers' fees. That's not a bad thing. In the old days when people had disputes, they challenged you to a duel. Again, he goes off again. He wanders off. He wanders off track just like me. So he's a man after my own heart. He can't stay focused on a lot of things. That's not bad. In the old days when people had disputes, they'd challenge you to a duel with pistols on Main Street at high noon. 50 paces. 50 paces is really far, dude. It was not 50 paces. It would usually be like 10, 12 paces. Because that's 20. If you go 50 paces, that's like 100 paces. That's like the length of a football field. You'll never hit anybody with an 1800s pistol from 100 yards away. Come on. That's how disputes were resolved. It was messy, loud, and probably not fair, but it was fast and cheap. The old hand of God justice. God will support the winner. Today, we have a more civilized legal system to help people solve their disputes. We want to encourage people to come to court rather than use violence or other means to solve a dispute. And as part of that, we know that sometimes people will bring claims that turn out to be wrong. Fair enough. So that's why I'm so confused at the angry Justice for Clayton fans who explain most of us are primarily interested in how to make sure this does not happen to any more men. False accusations help none of us. Yeah, okay, that's true. Okay, he's granting that. See, he's not completely unreasonable. Yep, that's why I said the length of a football field. 50 paces would be the length of a football field. 50 paces each direction. All right. Well, yes, okay, that's true, but in the world of false allegations, a mistaken, even groundless allegation of paternity is one of the easiest, quickest, and cheapest to disprove. Well, apparently Clayton Echard's legal bills disprove that theory. It's like shooting someone with a Nerf dart. Nah, that isn't. Any collateral damage is virtually zero. Seriously, I know because it happened to me. Different circumstances, my brother. Different circumstances. Let's assume for a second that Laura was never pregnant, or maybe she was pregnant and Clayton wasn't the father, or maybe Clayton was the father, but Laura unknowingly had a very early miscarriage. You can't have a very early miscarriage and have a 6-month pregnant belly in October. Like 3 or 4 months later, you're still, anyway, we'll get there. I just don't see it that way. The only person making a big deal is you know who, and his legal team, cough, cough. You don't have to say that. You'd have to, you shouldn't be writing these blog things anyway, but if you are, you can say the only person making a big deal is Clayton Echard. You don't have to go, you know who, wink, wink, and his legal team, cough, cough, casting aspersions on his lawyer's ability. That's a cut at the lawyer. The lawyer's doing his job, pal, just the same way you're doing yours. And to, his legal team, cough, cough, like they're not really lawyers, like they're not really good lawyers. Dude, this is what I mean by you don't have to do that. You be better than that. You keep the cutting remarks, keep the snide remarks, keep them out of your writing. It doesn't belong there as a professional, as a member of the bar, as a respected lawyer. Why you gotta talk like that? Why you gotta do that? If Clayton wanted justice, all he had to do was exactly what I did. Just take a very simple test. He took 3 tests. 2 said little or no fetal DNA. The 3rd test magically disappeared, and she refused a 4th test, if I recall correctly. And if I'm not, show me where I'm wrong with documents, please. Just take a very simple test. Let the results speak for themselves. They did little or no fetal DNA. If Laura was lying, there was never any chance that Clayton could ever fail that test. I haven't seen him fail that test yet. This should have taken about 5 minutes of his time, and the total legal fees would have been 0. And Laura would have lost, and Clayton would have his justice, whatever that means. That's why I just don't understand this anti-Laura mob mentality, because she's done it to 4 other dudes at least, and damaged and ruined lives. She's even accused a lawyer of drugging her and SAing her, or at least attempting to. So yeah, it's a little different. And it's just personally, I think when this all comes out in court, people are going to realize they were completely wrong about Laura, like completely. If I'm completely wrong in what I know so far based on what I've read, so freaking be it. So be it. If I am, I am, and I will read everything that I am allowed to see. I will read whatever the results are, whether it's favorable. I'm not pro Clayton. Based on what I've read, I tend to be anti Laura because I think she's faking it based on my assessment of the documents, and that's my opinion, and I have the right to state my opinion that I believe she's completely wrong in this. I believe she's doing this on purpose. I believe he's a victim. If I'm proven wrong, cool. I can't wait. Bring it on. Show me. I want to see the documents. I want to see the evidence. And he's talking about maybe something coming up later this week. We'll just have to see what that is. See, this is the weird thing. This is where he keeps hedging himself. I think when all this comes out, people are going to realize they were completely wrong, like completely wrong about Laura. But even if I'm wrong and Laura has lied about everything, why would you say that if there's zero possibility of that? So freaking what? I personally have a judgment that proves beyond any doubt the Arizona Attorney General brought a false paternity claim against me, which took literally 5 minutes of my time and exactly $0 to disprove. It was over so fast, all I lost was maybe an hour of my time. I got my justice he didn't want justice. Remember, he didn't want justice. He didn't get justice, but now he got his justice. Yeah. Where was that justice thing up here? Yeah. I didn't demand justice. I didn't demand justice. I took 5 minutes and it cost me zero money, and I got my justice in the end. Which is a pal. So when I look at what Clayton is doing in this case, all I can do is shake my head and wonder what on earth this kid is thinking. He's thinking he wants his name cleared, and he's thinking he's right, just like your client apparently thinks she's right, if we give her the benefit of the doubt. And here's the finding of fact. The court finds that DNA testing has excluded David Gingras as the biological father of PM. Further, the court concludes as a matter of law that David Gingras is not the biological father of PM. There you go. Now, let's see here. That's a little later. Now he's so there was still a little bit of the humor. There's still a lot of uncalled for stuff in there that just didn't make any sense, and I don't think it needs to be there. You can write a blog article, which I don't think I would write. I mean, I can't imagine writing a blog article about a case that I'm actively working on. And I can't imagine my client wanting me to do that, but hey, that's between him and her. It's weird for me to think about doing that. Been there, done that with $1.99. Mari did a lot for this country. You are not the father. Yeah. Mari Povich, a hero. And the DCV Titan. Thank you so much. We have a word for that. It's cuck. Wow. Okay. That's pretty harsh. And Mamasaurus Rex, member for 8 months, starting my birthday the best way with the Lorax and the best chat anywhere. The Lorax's wings have been clipped. I got to get back to Lorax status. But cheers, Mamasaurus Rex. Thank you so much for being a huge supporter of the channel, for being here regularly, for contributing, for making us all happy and making us all have a good time. I hope this year is the greatest year of your life, and I hope next year will be the same. You truly, truly deserve every good thing that happens to you. Happy birthday. It doesn't get better, and it continues to get worse with his writings. And we're not even talking about his submissions to the court. We'll look at the submissions on another, likely on another stream. We're just kind of focusing on his personal writings today, his blog posts. Next, he wrote an article. Oh, well, hey, let's do our midstream grift here. As long as we're here, we got 661 of you. Thank you so much. You 661 people could be anywhere in the entire universe doing anything you want right now. And you chose to be here with me. I do not take that for granted. Absolutely respect each and every one of you, 660 plus people that are watching this. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll do me a favor and reach down there and hit that like button if you haven't done that yet. And if you have, don't hit it again. Or if you do, just make sure it's an odd number of times. And subscribe. I would love to have you subscribe to the channel. We're going to follow this to its end, and hopefully it's going to conclude on June 10th. We'll have to see what happens at that hearing. But until then, we're going to be covering this. We're covering other trials, other social media-based legal disputes, such as what the Hales and other things. Come give us your subscription. I hope you stick around. Thank you so much. And take our like and subscribe poll. So hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button if you have subscribed. Double check to make sure you are still subscribed. And take our like and let's see our like and subscribe poll. It's gone worse. I thought I was teaching you people that everybody is redeemable. That some of us have bad days, bad weeks, bad months. Some of us are misguided, but we can always get back on the freedom train, on the righteous train. So I asked you in the like and subscribe poll, is Lawyer Gingras redeemable in your eyes? Earlier, 70% of you said he's too far gone. Now 71% of you have said he's too far gone. I don't think he is. He can be redeemed if he tries, says 14% of you. That's where I sit. Now it's 15% of you, okay? That's where I sit. I sit he can if he wants to be. He can regain a lot of what he's lost in public opinion if he wants to, if he tries. 7% say his redemption arc is inevitable. 7% of you think that he has no choice but to come around and see the light and be redeemed. And 8% of you say he doesn't need to be redeemed because he's doing, just whatever it is he's doing. He's not in need of redemption. All right. Gingras doesn't want to. Well, maybe he will. Maybe he'll take what I'm saying in the spirit is meant to be given, and that he'll understand that I really want to like lawyers. I hate when people hate lawyers because they don't distinguish between that lawyer and the other lawyer. It's just, I hate lawyers. And I don't want people to hate him, because if they hate him, they hate me by association. So that's my thing. I want him to be liked. I want him to be likable. We're not there, though. I wish we were, but we're not. So let's look at this next article as soon as I sneeze. Oh, fake sneeze. All right. Oh, see, Bernice Collins says, I'm proof that people can change for those of you who know my story. Yes, we can all change. There's very, very few people who are genuine, true lost causes. Very few. But you gotta want it. All right, this next article, let's take a peek at this. Let's see if this shares anything new. And again, it's not just to go neener, make fun of him and call him names. It's to just corrective criticism, as well as hopefully seeing some new information about this case, because I am extraordinarily interested in what her side of the story is. And he's been very cagey, very vague in what he's giving up. He's accepting everything. He's fishing for as many comments and arguments from Clayton's side as possible, but he's being very, very cagey in what he gives up about what she's actually arguing. Can't blame him for that. That's some good lawyering. If you can Jedi mind trick people into giving him assistance with his arguments. But I definitely want to see, because he's been like, oh, I don't know about this. I haven't read all of this. I'm finishing up this investigation. This might be the case. Maybe this is this. I'm not sure. Tell me more. I desperately want to see the writing on the wall that says, this is my client's case, and this is her evidence, and this is her timeline. I desperately want to see that. But what the hell is a vanishing twin? What the hell is a vanishing twin? An anonymous person recently posted this comment on my blog. Many others have said similar things. Anonymous. I don't care if it's someone that supports me or someone that's against me. I'm always suspicious of anonymous. I'm always suspect of anonymous. Maybe that's my problem, but I am. An anonymous person recently posted this comment on my blog. Many others have said similar things. I think it's important enough to warrant a direct response. I'm probably in a minority in that I'm following this case, but not necessarily part of the JFC crew. I don't consider myself part of the JFC crew like the diehards. I'm part of the JFC crew based on evidence submitted so far. But if I'm convinced that it's JFL, I'll jump on the JFL bandwagon as well. It's where the evidence leads me. That's all I'm interested in. I don't think it's fair to make assumptions until punctuation, people. I don't think it's fair to make assumptions, period. Until now, evidence is seen, though I admit all evidence out there really supports Clayton's side. All right. I don't think it's fair to make assumptions until all evidence is seen. All evidence out there really supports Clayton's side. I agree it's reasonable to assume she did think she was pregnant, or even was early on. I don't think so. I personally don't think it's reasonable for her to assume she's pregnant with male and female twins within days of engaging in whatever they engaged in. Heck, Clayton believed it was enough to take a test. I don't think he believed it enough to take a test. I think he wanted her to take the test to prove that it didn't happen, and she wasn't. But that's my own opinion. I'm sure if you really did nothing that was even at risk of getting someone pregnant, you wouldn't bat an eye. Well, he did. He didn't. He said, stop talking to me. And then she was insistent. And he said, all right, let's take the test. And then it came back vaguely pregnant. And then there's, all right, let's do the DNA. And then that came back little or no fetal. And then she filed a lawsuit against him. He wanted her gone. He wanted nothing to do with her. He wanted to be done until she filed the lawsuit. So that's not exactly correct, in my opinion. But here is where I think the difference is that makes everyone mad. She didn't just miscarry and then move on. She faked ultrasounds, which she admitted. And while she hasn't admitted to it, I think it's obvious that she faked an ongoing pregnancy while knowing she wasn't pregnant, i.e. showing up to court in November with a bump. Now, whether all of that stuff is related enough to get her in trouble in court, I don't know. I'm not involved in law enough, but I think that's at least the basis of everyone being so angry. Roughly so. Roughly so. Okay, let's unpack this comment because it's something I've seen a lot of people speculating about. Oh, we got some speculation going on here. We're speculating. Laura had like 5 or 6 positive pregnancy tests before she filed the paternity case against Clayton. Did she really? Okay. I actually think it was 4 positive tests before the case was filed, and then many positive tests after. Those numbers aren't what I recall. So, okay, that's actually pretty strong proof she was pregnant. Since we can't prove she faked any of these tests, we can probably give her the benefit of the doubt and assume that she was pregnant. No, I don't think we've ruled out all of the possibilities that may lead to a false positive. Just saying. At least at first. So let's follow his argument here. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, just for the sake of argument. All right, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, now in my mind, she was pregnant. Okay, this is a theory. This is theory number one, or part one of the theory. She was pregnant, at least at first, and keep in mind the paternity case was filed on August 1st. Even if Laura was pregnant on August 1st, she claims she later had a miscarriage, maybe even as late as 22 plus weeks into the pregnancy, but maybe sooner. At that late stage, if she miscarried a child or twins that were between 4 and 5 months along, there must have been an obvious dead baby / babies. Oh, it goes beyond that. If it goes past the, well, okay, then 22 plus weeks. Notice it doesn't say plus 24, because after 24, is it 20 weeks or 20? It's 24 weeks that it triggers the miscarriage. I mean, from miscarriage to stillbirth. So, all right. There must have been an obvious dead baby / babies. You can't have a dead 5-month-old fetus fall out without you noticing it. That would make no sense. DSG note, I agree 100%. Well, see here, this argument, this theory falls apart right at the beginning. Even if Laura was pregnant on August 1st, the latest we heard was definitively she had a miscarriage on July 23rd. She took pictures of the fetal sacs as she identified them. She sent them to her sister. She apparently told people that she miscarried on July 23rd. If that's the case, if that's the story they're sticking to, the filing on August 1st in and of itself, by definition, is improper. Because if she knew she miscarried on July 23rd, she knew she wasn't pregnant when she filed the lawsuit seeking all of the parental stuff from Clayton Echard. Three, Laura has failed to offer any proof of these dead 4 or 5-month-old fetuses, and she has never explained where the dead babies went. Therefore, she must be lying.
Gotcha, bitch.
Okay. All right. That's what people are saying. I don't know anybody that's actually saying that. We're saying, okay, when was it? If it was over the stillbirth line, where's the stillbirth certificates? If it was before that, when was it? Okay, for all you keyboard warriors again, out there who read some shit on Reddit, I don't think I would curse in my writing. There's no, I'll tell you, keyboard readers reading shit on Reddit. Yes, Reddit is by and large a degenerate scumbag hole. Watched a few videos on YouTube, and now think you know everything about pregnancy. Let me break some hard truth for you. You're wrong. You don't know everything, and neither do I, by the way. All right, so he just tells everybody that's reading. See, if you disagree, but some people do know. Some people are actually experts in such things as pregnancy. I don't know. If you watch the 6.5 hour stream, you saw me fumbling around wondering what the hell was all about that the tests and what the H102 meant and shit. I don't know. But some experts stepped in and clarified it for me. So cool. This is why you hire experts. Dun, dun, dun. We've got experts involved. There's experts. This is why you hire experts, because average people may think they know it all, but the truth is you just don't. No, seriously, stop. You don't. Dave Niels, I'm talking to you. Dave Neal, I'm talking to you here. Again, you don't have to point someone out individually. Now you're being petty. No, seriously, stop. You don't, Dave Neal. I'm talking to you here. Dave Neal is not an expert. He's not a lawyer. He's not a doctor. He's an entertainer. He's a commentator. He's an opinion giver. That's what he is. He gives his opinion. Why are you naming him? Why or not naming him? DN, who's he talking about? Why are you picking on Dave, man? He's a reporter. He's a journalist, an entertainer who's entitled to have his opinions, entitled to have his beliefs, entitled to make comments. That's the beauty of living in America, man. And in case you didn't catch this news, Clayton has hired 2 OBGYN experts. Oh, wow. 2 experts. He must be double winning. So much winning for big, strong Clayton. This is what I have problems with, man. That paragraph right there, that's the kind of shit that I have problems with. Why? Why are you writing like that, man? Why are you making people actively dislike you? Dude, you're better than that. You can make a better argument than that. You can say you may have misconceptions about an expert. You may think you're in a great position if you have 1 expert or 2 experts to testify for you, but they may not testify how you think they're going to testify. You can say things like that. You don't have to go, oh, Clayton has hired 2 experts. Oh, wow, 2 experts. He must be double winning. So much winning for big, strong Clayton. It makes you look like the 4-year-old. It makes you look like the 4. It makes you look like the 12-year-old kid in the playground going, it makes people look at you and go, dude, how old are you? And at least in my, it's made people question whether or not you're really a lawyer. As someone, you're only what, 3 years younger than me, and given my time serving an LDS mission for a couple of years, you probably started very close to the same time, being lawyers. Why? You're better than this. You're more mature than this. I'm just asking to be better and not write dumb stuff like this that makes people think you're not. If I know, 28 years, I guess it's been 28 years I've been doing this law thing. The one thing on earth that pisses me off more than anything it's like a huge trigger for me is when people question my credentials. It happened early on in LawTube days. He's not really like, it annoyed. I spent too goddamn much time of my life and too goddamn much. I spent a shit ton of money on doing this, and I did a damn good job, and I've had a damn good career. And if it would, I can't imagine how angry that would make me if someone were like, is this guy really a lawyer after 28 years? And that's what people do when they see you writing like this, David. It's like a 12-year-old in the schoolyard picking on the little kids. Go, no, little baby, you're gonna cry. You're gonna cry, little baby. Where's your tears? Punch, punch, punch. Let's see your tears, little baby. Punch, punch. It makes the adults looking at you go, why are you being a dick? And I don't want you to be a dick, man. I want people to like you. I want people to go, okay, I don't agree with his client. I think you have every right to represent your client. You have every right to vigorously advocate for your client, Laura Owens. And I want you to do that. I want you to do that to the best of your ability, Dave Gingras. I don't want you to wallow around in the mud like a stupid little bully like this. It's not good. It's not becoming. And as I said at the beginning of this, it makes people hate you, and it makes them hate other lawyers by association. When they're calling you a childish jackass, they're calling me a childish jackass too, because we happen to be in the same profession. Come on. I'm just asking you to be a little better. Maybe, I don't want to be pedantic about this, but maybe when you're going to write your next post, write it out and sleep on it. And then go back the next day after you've had a good rest and a good cup of coffee or whatever in the morning, and go through and edit out this stuff before you post it. You've told people you want them to die. You want to read their obituary and then throw it in the garbage like they deserve. You've called us, the pond scum. Now you're on the breadstick thing. Oh, we need breadstick money. You're threatening people. You're threatening journalists. You're threatening entertainers. You're threatening people that are doing you no harm. Why? Why are you doing it? and it's fodder. You're feeding the people you consider to be trolls. You're giving them the ammunition. When if you would just look at it and go, all right, this is why you hire experts, because average people may think they know it all, but the truth is they just don't. But Clayton has not shared anything about what his experts are going to say. This whole section here, this blog post would have been so much better, so much more professional, so much more reasonable and responsible if you just wouldn't have put those few lines in. This undermines the credibility of you, your abilities, and your arguments. It serves no purpose, no positive purpose. There's no positive purpose with you putting those in there, David. He said it just hurts you, your reputation, and your argument. It doesn't hurt Clayton. It doesn't. You think Clayton's going, oh my God, he called me so much winning for big strong Clayton, and it makes him sad? No, he's just looking at you and laughing at you. See, it's like you might think that Tug and Dave and Megan and maybe me that we're to be laughed. We don't laugh. We laugh with each other. Come on, man, do better. But Clayton has not shared about what his experts are going to say. Having litigated tons of cases with experts, I can tell you that's not normal. The rules require this disclosure, so I assume Clayton will be sharing that info soon. It is normal not to. Why on earth would he? Come on, dude, you're being disingenuous again. Why on earth? And we have quite a few lawyers here in chat, and I'd be surprised if any one of them disagreed with me. Why on earth would you think that Clayton's lawyers are going to tell you what they're going to argue an instant before they're forced to do so by court rules? Why would they tell you months and months and months in advance what they're going to argue so you can go out and find people to contradict it? They're not going to tell you anything until they absolutely have to. One lawyer says, fuck that. So there you go. Anyway. Where are we at here? I've lost my place. All right, there we go. But here is more news. Laura has also hired an OBGYN expert. It's the battle of the expert. Just one. Sorry, not doing the twin expert thing. That's a noob move. Is it really, though? Maybe they're going to be talking about different expert things. It's not a noob move to hire experts. You hire a bajillion you hire all the experts you can find, and then you decide which ones to use. You want all the experts. Why would you want anything less than all the experts? I want all the experts. But here's an interesting thing. I don't like the way the U.S. courts handle experts. I just don't, because it's the battle of the experts. I tend to disregard most of what experts say. Why is that? Because I'll tell you right now, Clayton Echard's experts are going to say exactly what Clayton Echard's lawyers and him want the expert to say. And you know what Laura's experts are going to say? They're going to say exactly what Laura Owens and her lawyer want the experts to say. You don't go hire someone that disagrees with you. So it's, who do you trust? They're both getting paid to give their statements. I'm really impressed with the way the Korean courts handle experts. If experts are required, one side they'll submit like their brief or an expert opinion letter, and then the other side will submit like briefs and an opinion letter from an expert, and the courts will very, very often go, thank you very much, both sides. And then the court will order the appointment of a neutral expert. I like that idea. I think if there needs to be experts, there should be an independent third-party expert appointed by the judge that both sides can question. That's some fun stuff on that, because it's the guy, he's getting paid by the court. He's got no particular, monkeys in the circus or ponies in that rodeo. So I that's one thing that I do find very, very interesting about the Korean court system, is the appointment by the court of the court appointed experts to give testimony on a particular issue that both sides are in disagreement about. So I would love to see that happen in this case. All right, back on track here. As long as we're paused, let's do this. Aussie Tank is a new member. Thank you, Aussie Tank. That's very generous of you and very nice of you. Thank you for joining the Clean and Sober crew. And DCV Titan with $5. The more mature than this, while reading evidence to the contrary, this guy's a petulant child that's pissy he didn't get to expense a lunch. And it makes it, I don't want to think he is, but all signs point to yes. Because that's the image he's given to all of us. That's the image he's portrayed to all of us. And I so desperately want to be wrong, because I don't like to dislike people. Well, let's continue our story here. Experts. That's a noob move. Our expert is still reviewing info and asking questions, and he hasn't produced his expert report yet. Obviously, that'll be disclosed to Clayton's team as soon as we have it, probably next week. I don't like to rush these things. So while I can't tell you, and don't rush them. A lawyer should never rush his expert's reports or any reports. You should prepare well in advance. Exactly. I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. Exactly, Boosh. So while I can't tell you exactly what Laura Experts has concluded, I can share with you some information. It is absolutely possible that Laura could have been pregnant with twins, had an early miscarriage of one, continued to gain weight, and then ended the pregnancy with an SAB, the medical term for a miscarriage, all without ever passing a stillborn fetus. So now he's going with the ghost twin. The one of the twins died and the other one continued, and then he absorbed the other. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this in a second, because funny weird story coming up from me. So all without ever passing. Okay, if it is possible. Let's say you're absolutely correct. That is possible. I speak from very, very close to personal knowledge on that. But what if she says, here are the fetal sacs that were passed on July 23rd? All right. I that's what I have to see overcome. Don't take Dr. Gringus's word on this. This is a real medical thing that happens. It even has a pretty intriguing name: vanishing twin syndrome. Oh, Kitty, you're not far from the truth. Vanishing twin syndrome, as the name depicts, is a condition in which... All right, I have to share this story. I have to ask a question real quick. Hopefully I'll get an answer before we get to that part. Let me turn my microphone off for just a quick second here while I send this message. Hi, I'm back. Sorry. Hopefully I'll get the answer to this before too long. And one last. Sorry about this. This plays into the story. Hopefully I can get the answer to the question later. All right, we'll see. Vanishing twin syndrome, as the name depicts, is a condition in which one of a set of twins or multiple embryos dies in utero, disappear, or gets reabsorbed partially or entirely, with an outcome of a spontaneous reduction of a multi-fetus pregnancy in a single pregnancy, I guess, portraying the image of a vanishing twin. In simple words, The number of embryos conceived, as observed via ultrasonographic examination in early pregnancy, differs from the number of fetuses delivered. This phenomenon occurs in multi-fetus pregnancies, commonly during the first trimester. Twin loss can happen in the form of miscarriage, of which the mother is aware, or in the form of vaginal bleeding or spotting in the first trimester without any knowledge of the mother. As vaginal bleeding is instead a frequent obstetric complication during the first trimester of pregnancy, so that the twin loss may go unnoticed. This phenomenon can range from the disappearance of an early empty gestational sac to a sac that had developed a fetal pole to a fetus with documented heart activity. Not wrong. Early, and usually in the first trimester. That's your first 3 months. Without getting too graphic, and to be honest, this is something I hadn't even considered, it is medically possible for a woman to become pregnant with twins, have 2 babies develop inside her womb, and then something goes wrong and one baby stops developing and dies, but the fetus is not discharged from the woman's body. The fetus/uterus is simply reabsorbed into the body. Okay, we're with you so far. Be honest, did you know such a thing was possible? Absolutely. I'm still waiting for the text to answer the question I asked. Sending another message. Hurry up and answer me. Right, there we go. Sending a follow-up message because it's funny. Yeah. Yes, I didn't know such a thing was possible. Until a few days ago, I had no clue this was possible. And to be honest with you, I kind of understood why people like Clayton's lawyer were jumping up and down saying, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" In the absence of any other medical explanation, and for people who are not doctors, this makes a lot of sense. No, see, this is... That's a good point. The sock snatcher makes a very good point. No, Jeff, the uterus is not reabsorbed. It's just the fetus/uterus is simply reabsorbed into the body. Yeah, the uterus is definitely not reabsorbed into the body. That would not be a correct statement. Sorry, David. You're not gonna absorb the fetus. You're not gonna absorb the uterus into the body. All right. Okay, here's the problem with that. And let's see if he posts or posits a rational explanation for this. You're not saying, "Where's the baby?" They're saying, "Where are the babies?" One gets absorbed and the other one continues to grow. Where is that other one? Where are the remains of the other one? I've even seen the suggestion that Laura must be lying about miscarrying so late in her term, because if that happened, she would have been legally required to file a death certificate for the baby/babies. Again, sounds like a cool theory, but is it solid? No, it's not. What I think is being said here is that your body could reabsorb 2 6-month-old fetuses, and the mother wouldn't have any idea this was happening? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no on that one. Everything changes when you understand it is entirely possible Laura was pregnant with twins, had a partial early SAB miscarriage of one baby, remained pregnant with the other, and then had a second SAB followed by reabsorption rather than stillbirth. By legal definition, Laura would not be required to file a death certificate in that case because no child was ever stillborn after 20 weeks. Okay. You ever hear this is You ever hear the phrase, there's some shit I just will not eat? Look, let me tell you here, David, Mr. Gingras, if I may. Back in the 14th century. Back in the 14th century, there was a particular philosopher. And I know whereof I speak because I was a philosophy major in my undergraduate days, much to my father's horror. Back in the 14th century, there was a particular philosopher named William of Ockham. We may have heard about William of Ockham. He gave us the philosophical idea that we like to call Occam's razor. Essentially, the explanation is the easiest, simplest hypothesis. The simplest solution is preferable. It's vain to do more than what can be done with few. That was William of Ockham's contribution to the philosophical world. Plurality should not be posited without necessity. Keep it simple, stupid. If you're presented with two possibilities, one of which was she lied about being pregnant for 6 months with twins, or on the other side, she lied about being pregnant with twins and admits to falsifying sonograms, and little or no fetal DNA was found long time ago, brah. Or on the other side, she's pregnant with twins. One dies at some point early on in the pregnancy and is reabsorbed into the surviving twin. And then later on, after the 20 weeks mark or somewhere around there, the second twin dies and then is reabsorbed into the body, all the while nobody having any idea that this is happening. Which one of those is the simplest and most believable hypothesis? That doesn't mean the other one's not entirely true. It just means it sounds like bullshit, and you're going to have a hell of a time convincing someone that that is the more rational and reasonable explanation as to what happened. I'm not getting any answers to the question that I asked of the person, but someone has seen it. Who saw it? Nobody's telling me. There's a family member. Let's just say that there's a close family member who was pregnant with triplets, and there was only 2 by the end of the pregnancy. And we make fun of one. I was asking what the name of the one that one of them ate. Apparently, it's a whole thing. So yeah, it's happened in my own relatively immediate family. This is a thing, but it goes beyond straining credulity to even think. I mean, this is like saying aliens came down and kidnapped the fetuses from the womb without the mother being aware, and planted a fake moon bump inside of her to make her believe she was pregnant. That is equally as credible as this theory. Occam's razor. All right. Anyway, so this better not be their actual argument, because unless there's some sort of medical proof to back up that this happened, that's a horseshit argument. That is never going to be believed by anyone. And if I'm wrong, that'll be interesting, and I'll be the first one to eat it. Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. MG Law. MG Law says, how many times Laura Owens would be a medical marvel for that to happen. I was going to say this case would end up in medical textbooks. If this turns out to be the case, this would end up in medical textbooks. Okay, I have the answer. I have the answer to my question live as we speak. Okay. I have twin nephew and niece. One nephew, one niece. They're twins. They started out apparently as triplets, and the male twin apparently absorbed and ate the third fetus. And I was just asking because what was the name of the name of the fetus is Billy Bob. They just call him Billy Bob. They decided to name him. So thank you. There it was. I'm sorry. Curiosity got the best of me. I couldn't remember, but yeah. So yeah, they just refer to the missing reabsorbed twin as Billy Bob. Sorry. Oh no. Sorry, the messages continue. What have I missed here? Right. All right, continuing right along. I will ignore the family messages for a while. Now, so yeah, we had a Billy Bob in my family. Where are we at here? Defining fetal death to mean cessation of life before the complete expulsion or extraction of an unborn child from the child's mother. A dead fetus that is reabsorbed into the mom's body doesn't count as a fetal death because the unborn child never left the mom's body. Yes, this is all seriously kind of creepy, but just stay with me. In this case, and yes, you will still need to wait for trial to get the full final story. Well, he's just criticizing Clayton Echard lawyer for not telling him what their experts are going to say, but then he's saying you're not getting our full story until trial. Little kind of little talking out of both sides of your mouth there, pal. It is medically possible that Laura experienced vanishing twin syndrome or something similar. That would explain literally every detail of what. Yes, it would explain literally every detail of what happened to her. But is it plausible? Is it reasonable? Is it even rational? Is there any evidence to support it, or are you just spaghettiing the wall? You're just hurling your noodle at the wall to see if it sticks.
Hey, phrasing!
It would explain the positive pregnancy test at the start. It would explain the partial SAB, followed by more positive tests, concluding with the very low HCG tests. Very low HCG tests, he told us they were off the charts. Confirmed I believe he told us they were off the charts. If my memory serves me correct, he's like, this proves she's pregnant. Now he's saying they're very low. I don't know. No, maybe he did say they were low. I'm sorry. I don't want to put words into his mouth. That would be wrong. I apologize if I was incorrect. Low HCG test, which confirmed the non-viability of the second fetus, followed by a complete reabsorption rather than stillbirth. This explains her weight gain, explains the not fake moon bump. Explain how it went up over the titty, though. It went up over the titty, bruh. Real pregnant bellies don't shift up to go over the titty. Explain the numerous positive pregnancy tests. Well, we've explained that by there's other possibilities, including have you ever left, like I did it with the COVID tests, and I believe we even did it once with a pregnancy test with my ex-wife. You leave it out for a while, and that's why I think they say that the results aren't valid after 15 minutes or something like that. I've apparently started a Twitter storm. I have to turn off the noisemaker on my phone. Apparently, I've reignited family chat about Billy Bob. You wake up the next morning and there'll be like a faint little line in the positive thing. There's other reasons why. All right. Explains the numerous positive tests followed by the positive but unrealistically low HCG results. Explains the lack of a fetal death certificate. Explains literally every period, single period, detail period, all of it, comma, start to finish. But hey, screw the facts. Oh, see now, dude, there's the problem. Screw the facts. You have this whole thing from here all the way up to here. No, I lied. It's even higher. Right here. This entire section here, there's not a single fact about her case. This is not screw the facts. This is a complete supposition. That was a hypothetical. That was a possibility. I haven't seen any evidence to say that any of that was a fact. Come on. Unless you have evidence, I'm not going to accept that as a fact. That's all hypothesis. That's all probability at this point. It's a theory. What fun is the truth when a lie sells so much better? Yeah, what fun is she lied when actually lying and making up other stuff and throwing around hypotheses can be so much better. It can go both ways. I'm not saying which way it actually went. I'm saying which one I believe based on Occam's razor and the availability of evidence. Xenu is the father, says Bush McFadden. But it's just as likely to me. Breadsticks aren't free. There he goes, taking a swipe at breadstick people. Dave Neal, Tug, and Megan. I guess I've gnawed around the edges of some breadsticks. Breadsticks aren't free. People want more drama. I don't want drama, dude. I want the opposite of drama. I want facts supported by evidence. That's what I want. I want there to be no drama. I want there to be conclusive legal evidence and proof of something. I want answers. I don't want drama. More scandals, more lies, rather than nasty, depressing stories about dead babies reabsorbing into the mom. Ew. Again, people look at this ew and go, come on. So we keep selling lies. No, it's not lies. These are rational beliefs. Just the way you say this reabsorption of twins thing is your side's rational belief, this idea that she's lying is a rational belief for other people. It's their opinion to which they are entitled to. So I agree. Screw the truth. Just keep blogging about what a liar Laura is. We want to find the truth, and she's not helping find the truth. That's the problem. So things screw the truth. You're not going to Jedi mind trick people into believing your story without any evidence. And if you have the evidence, God bless you. Submit it to the court, put it out there so we can all see it and we can see conclusively why we're all wrong. Just keep blogging about what a liar Laura is, what a saint Clayton is, and what an immoral scumbag attorney I am for standing by Laura's side. No. No. Do not be confused about that, David. David, again, this is why we're doing this tonight. This is why we're talking about this a little bit. You are not an immoral scumbag for standing by Laura's side. Not at all. As I said, she has every right to have a lawyer. And you, as her lawyer, not only have the right, you have an obligation as a lawyer, as a member of the bar, to vigorously advocate for your client. But that's limited by you are not allowed to let her knowingly lie to the court. You, as her lawyer, are not allowed to lie to the court. But within those bounds, you have every right to vigorously and aggressively argue on behalf of your client. I don't think Megan, I don't think Dave, I don't think Tug or anyone else has said you're an immoral scumbag for standing by Laura's side. The problem that people have is one of the very first statements you said is if I catch her lying, or if I know if she's lied to me, or if I find out she's lied to the court, or however you phrased it in the early stage, you would immediately withdraw from the case. And now, if we scroll up, you've got the even if she's lying, so freaking what? That's where people have problems. The way you phrase things, the way you phrase this at the beginning. You put yourself out there saying that if there's a single lie she's told, you're going to withdraw. We have her admission that she lied, she falsified these sonograms, but that wasn't lying to you. That's different. So I'll give you that, David. But the point is, she's changed her story to you, and you've told several different versions of her story. Yet you continue to represent her, which go back on your. All right, I will say that you're going back on your promise. You probably obviously have a different opinion of what you've done, but I still don't fault you for that. You can easily, in my mind, go around and go, all right, I was just, I was full of piss and vinegar when I said that. I was spouting off, all right, fine. But I'm going to stick with this. I owe her this. She deserves my reputation. I'm a fantastic lawyer, and she deserves my representation. So I'm going to stick with it. I can even do that. I have no problems whatsoever with that. Represent your client, regardless of whatever you said at the beginning. Where the immoral problems come in, where I think the unethical, where I think the unnecessary things come in, is when you call people pond scum for having an opinion that differs from yours, where you wish them dead and say you can't wait to read their obituary. Where you can't wait to throw their obituary in the garbage because that's where it belongs. When you talk down to the people, they're cockroaches, you refer to them as. They're breadstick people. They're making the breadstick money. When you call them the crazy Clayton cult or Clayton's crazy cult or whatever, and you spelled it all with K's, with KKK instead of CCC. When you're basically calling someone who differs from you a member of one of the most horrific white supremacist racist organizations that's ever existed in the United States, that's when your childishness, when your pettiness, and when this immorality comes in. Calling someone essentially a member of the KKK because they disagree with you, that's where people might think you're an immoral scumbag. That's why people might call you a douche canoe, because it's a douchey thing to say. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. It's unprofessional. And you're the one that comes out looking bad. Nobody, I have not, and if I hear, I haven't heard them and I don't remember any of it, but if anyone in my sphere, in the LawTube or LawTube adjacent YouTube community, if I hear any of them say you're an immoral scumbag for standing by Laura's side, I will stand up for you publicly. But I cannot defend your calling people KKK members cockroaches, wishing them death, referring to people as special ed kids. Basically calling them retards, and that's what I went. So you went back and you edited those things out. You edited the special ed comment out of your previous. That's why I'm saying don't write this shit in the first place, man. Don't write it in the first place. You are a 51, I believe. You're a 51-year-old man and a 51-year-old lawyer, and it never crossed your mind that you shouldn't disparage special ed kids? That never entered your mind? You thought it was perfectly okay to write it in there until someone called you out on it? And other people, I called you out on, other people called you, and then you went back and removed it and tried to pretend you didn't ever write it. Don't write it in the first place, man. And like I said, if you do write it, if you do write these posts, sleep on it, go back and read through it again with a little more critical eye, or have somebody else, for God's sake, read it before you post it. You're a grown ass. Oh, again, Robin Richardson. You're a grown ass man. You're a grown ass man who would have some sense. You are and he's not just a grown ass man. He's a grown ass professional lawyer man. Be better than this, David. Be better than this, so people don't hate you and they don't hate me and other lawyers by association. So again, I will defend you publicly and in front of anybody, regardless of who they are, if someone calls you an immoral scumbag for standing by Laura's side. Keep doing that, folks. No chance Laura will sue any of you into homeless oblivion when it's all done, because we know you all really tried darn hard to be honest and fair. Just not sure a jury will see it that way. See, again, you're threatening to drive people into homeless oblivion. You're threatening to take people's houses away for having a difference of opinion based on evidence that they've seen so far. You're essentially harassing a man whose wife is literally days away from giving birth to their first child, and you're threatening to put them out on the street. Come on, man. Take the high road. Just say, I appreciate your negative comments in the way you see this, but I'm going to prove your ass wrong in court. David, I would love to have you on my show. I know that's probably not a thing that you want to do before a trial. I would love to have you on the show to talk about some of these things with you. Genuinely and honestly from my heart, I would love some answers. I would love to talk to you about this, professional to professional. Find out why, why. Enough unpaid commentary for now. Just remember what our friend Mark Twain said. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Okay. There's also another Mark Twain quote. I'm trying to think of what it is. I don't want to paraphrase it and have it be wrong. Because hang on. Let me do this. Aha. This is also a Mark Twain quote. And I think it applies to you and these blog posts and the way you interact with other people in social media. This is from chapter 20 of the 1897 book Following the Equator. It is by the goodness of God that in our country we have those three unspeakably precious things: the freedom of speech, the freedom of conscience, and the prudence never to practice either of them. You have the freedom to call people KKK members. You have the freedom to call people pond scum. You have the freedom of speech to call them cockroaches. You're free to believe and think about people however you want, but you also have that unspeakably precious thing to hopefully have the prudence not to do it. Just because you can do something, just because you want to do something, doesn't mean you should. And again, you're entitled to your opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. Gingrich Law Office, PLLC. That's the second thing. Now there's one last piece. There's one last piece that I want to read here today. We're going to go a little over time. I hope you don't mind. We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes now. I usually shut this down in 2 hours, but there's another thing that I want to go through. The sort of drives home this point where I think you need to do better. And I would love to see you take a little more responsibility and be a little more professional and be a little kinder and gentler. And maybe, just maybe, you'd see some of that come back to you. There's your most recent upload is what I want to look at, David. Before we do that, though, we've got a lot of ground here to cover with some chats. Equality with the 20. Thank you so much. Like Runkle always says, good cops deserve to work with good cops. The same goes for other professions. By the way, can you guys send me good vibes for me? I have my last final exam this evening before earning my BBA. Oh, all the good vibes for you. Ace that test. Ace that final exam. Good luck to you. Equality. Thank you so much for the chat, and that should buy you some darn good karma. Lynn just gifted 1 Legal Vices membership. Oh, that is so sweet and kind of you. Thank you so much for doing that. Very, very generous of you. Thank you. And if you got that Legal Vices membership from Lynn, make sure you give her a super special thanks. Fletcher boy, Jeff, she coughed them up. Ew. See, now I'll go with Gingras here and go, ew, no. Thank you, Fletcher boy. Island with the $2. VTS almost only happens with mono twins, 1 sack. The DCV Titan with 2 Canadians. Thank you so much. He ain't tossing spaghetti. Righto. Okay. Just Don Soulless Ginger, where what we're not discussing is the complete and total improbability that she became pregnant by giving him a couple of BJs. Well, again, we don't know what happened. We only know his side of the story because she apparently hasn't decided if it was a BJ, if there was some dry humping, if there was some sort of swapping of fluids, if it was consensual, or if it was ARP. She hasn't decided what happened that night, whereas Clayton is sticking to one story. Have we forgotten about this, or did I miss something? Please excuse the YouTube edit. No, we haven't forgotten about it. We're just giving him the benefit of the doubt for his argument. But it is literally the definition of he said, she said, what happened that night. But you can look at all of the evidences submitted by both sides, and you can decide which version of the story you find to be more credible. So far, I am well and firmly in the Clayton Echard side. And they got to come up with some good, convincing evidence and make it seem logical for me to jump to. But I am willing to. I would love to see something from the other side. Wizzy Wheels. So are you okay after your barbecue mishap? Yeah, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, it's getting better. It's darkening up. So it's healing. It does no more pain. The swelling's gone down. Everything's fine. Just going to look ugly for a while. And Brett Jones says, Legal Vice, can you clarify if timing out Simon Franklin for posting a like and subscribe message in chat is endorsed by you? No, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Simon Franklin is a very divisive figure in chat. But you should, no timing out for doing mod work as an unordained mod. I know mods. You don't like the guy, but as keep on the cautious side of the ban line. That's it. Just don't be a dick. That's our only rule. And just don't worry about it. It's been asked for 2 days now, so otherwise I wouldn't address it. But yeah, just be easy. Be easy on the timeout hammer. Everybody, deep breaths, calm down. And if someone annoys you, just block them. Just block them. I mean, from your feed, not the whole feed in general. Be better, as I'm saying here. Just everybody be better to everybody, and that applies to Simon as well. Be better. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. It's a thing. It's a thing. Right. Our very last thing of the day here. This is Let's Talk About Lies, Part 1. Let's Talk About Lies, Part 1. And before we do that, let's mention that we have 638 concurrent viewers here now and 579 likes. We should have probably right around 800 likes right now because there's a big turnover. Do me a favor, everybody, get down there and smash that like button. Do that right now if you haven't already done so. If you have, just don't touch it again, or at least do it an odd number of touch it an odd number of times. Touch it oddly. And please, if you haven't subscribed, do me that favor. Do me that honor. Do me that privilege. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll have warm fuzzies, and you'll feel better for it. And if you have subscribed, double check to make sure you still are. And you 640 and 595 likes. We've got 689 votes. So we should have at least 689 likes. Shame on you. Shame on you, cheaters. Today's like and subscribe poll. It's getting worse. Come on, people. I'm trying to give this guy a redemption arc here. I'm trying to convince him. I'm trying to convince him that he's not beyond hope. But 72% of you have answered the question, is Lawyer Gingras redeemable? 72% of you said he's too far gone. I don't think he is. 14% of you said he can be redeemed if he wants, if he tries. I firmly believe that. He can turn this around. He can be likable. Everybody that I know is sympathetic to her last lawyer. There's like, I'm doing my best with what I got. I'm going to advocate for my client as best I can. And that was understood. Woodnick understood that. They were collegial about it. He can be that same guy if he tries. 6% of you say his redemption arc is inevitable. He's going to be forced. He's going to be forced into this. Yeah, exactly, MG Law. If Darth Vader can be redeemed, then maybe there is a slight chance this guy can't be. Even Darth Vader was redeemed at the end. But 8% of you say he needs no redemption. He's just fine the way he is. There you go. But this kind of stuff has to stop. This last post, this kind of stuff has to stop. And this is what really turned me off. This is what really made me stop thinking a lot of this is funny. Because it's fun to joke about tonsil twins. It's fun to joke about fetal attraction. It's fun to joke about moon bumps and bumping uglies and whatever else. But it's starting to not be funny anymore. Right about the time that this Let's Talk About Lies Part 1 came out. And we're gonna look at this on ye olde Wayback Machine, because he retconned a lot of it. Well, not a lot of it, some of this. He went back and changed some stuff. Again, if you're gonna change it, unless it's to add it or enhance it somehow, you shouldn't put it in the first place. All right, let's I don't know how much we can see here. Let's see, how big can we make this? That's what she wants to know. Wait, what have I done? How have I unhooked them? There we go. Now, this is the good old Wayback Machine that shows you the original post and then the edited post. And oops, what you can see here is the yellow is added and blue is deleted. So there's some stuff that's deleted and things. And there's stuff that's been changed, stuff that shouldn't have been in there. So we'll go back and read through this, and we'll note the differences when they come. Happy Friday to all. If you're reading this page, you know the Justice for Clayton crew and their narrative. It goes like this. Laura must be lying about Clayton because of the following points. Clayton says they never had sex. Laura says they did. Laura her initial was, we had intimate relations. She refused to say what happened on that night. Then she's alleged that there was, they got close enough that some man goo found its way south. Then it became a hint that they had intercourse. Then it became ARP. So she hasn't come right out. He said it, but she hasn't come out and said, we had penetrative sexual intercourse. I've seen nowhere where she said that. In fact, she was the one that was telling him, oh, you're going to like how, you would feel how tight I am because I haven't had sex in a year. So yeah. And she was safe because she was pregnant. So she was saying she hasn't had sex in a year. But so anyway, yeah, there's a lot of contradiction there. So no, that's not something that I would agree with. Clayton says Laura has no medical records to back up her story. That one is a confirmed 100% lie. There are tons. Now, tons is a lot. There are tons of medical records to document Laura's story. But that's a post for another day. It better be a post for another day because I don't want tons of medical records to document Laura's story. I want to see at least a minimum of medical records to support the idea that she was pregnant with twins or pregnant at all. That would be a good first step. Clayton says Laura has done this to other men. This will be the subject of a future post coming very shortly. He better not say it didn't happen, because that would just be too much. That would just kind of go over the line. We'll have to see where that goes. I don't know. Huh. Anyway, sorry, I was just this article made me really angry, and I'm trying not to go to the angry place again. All right. I've re-got my center back. I've recentered myself. This is all right. Clayton says Laura faked a sonogram in this case, and also in the past. Again, we'll be talking about the real facts soon. She admitted. No, Clayton didn't say Laura faked a sonogram in this. Oh, in this case. Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't like semantics. I don't like playing with semantics. I don't like playing word games. Again, we'll be talking about the real facts soon. I can't wait to talk about the real facts soon. Say something about the real fact. Stop hinting that we're going to see the real facts. I want to see the real facts. Laura wore a fake moon bump in court. It is going to take a lot to convince me that was not a fake moon bump. Laura had a blood test on October 16th, 2023 that showed HCG levels of 102, whereas a normal pregnancy at that same stage, the level should have been in the range of 1,400 to 53,000 or even higher of twins. It should have been a hell of a lot higher for singles and probably way higher than that for twins. Laura claimed to have a miscarriage, but never produced any proof, such as a fetal death certificate or any proof of a miscarriage. It doesn't have to be Give her the benefit of the doubt. It happened before the 20-week mark. Any medical evidence, any medical report saying that's. Now I know what the JFC haters will say. Gingras, you big ugly idiot. You said it, not me. I know you're called douche canoe by people, but that sort of seems to stem from being called cockroaches, essentially grifters, KKK members, people you wish dead. So I think you're kind of getting off easy on that one. Gingras, you big ugly idiot. No, you said you weren't going to try this case in public. No, yeah, he did. He said that. He said, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. He's said that a couple times. You are now contradicting yourself with all these posts. This shows you're a big fat liar. Insert crying emoji. See, he's being juvenile again here. Don't do this. Nobody said you're a big fat liar about this. MG Law. I can feel your anger. It makes you focus, makes you stronger. Give in to the dark side. No, it won't. No, it won't happen. You're not my father, MG Law. Just, you don't have to write this shit. Insert crying emoji. You're the one that's making these arguments. No one, just... Come on. Look, I do not want to talk about this case. Then don't. Then don't, dude. I wish you would. Look, I'm torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. I don't want you to talk about this case. I wouldn't talk about this case if I were you. But on the other hand, I really want you to talk about this case. In an adult, respectable, professional, lawyerly way. That's what I want. But I mean, first of all, I don't want you to talk about it, but I really do, because that's just me, and no, I'm making no money from any social media or blog posts. You shouldn't, unless she is instructing you to write these things. Even then, you may not want to, but yeah, you shouldn't, and I respect that. And no one has claimed, as far as I know, no one has claimed, monetization from all of this. Wait, there we go. We have to sync our. There we go. We're all synced up again. I don't know anybody that's claiming you're making money off of it. And if you did, yeah, if you billed her for it, whatever, that's between you and her. Unlike the JFC crowd, I don't make money from Google AdSense. They do. Well, unlike us that make money from Google AdSense, we don't make a fuck ton of money from your client. Or we don't make a fuck ton of money from Clayton Echard either. So yeah, that's just a shitty thing to say. They do, which is why the word vomit keeps flowing why the word vomit keeps flowing from their side. Well, you know what? All those people that wrote articles in support of Laura in the beginning, the Sun and the other social media and mainstream media outlets that wrote stories, the news stories that were on TV, they didn't write those for free. Why aren't you talking about them? Why aren't you condemning them for making money? They reported those articles for the purpose of getting clicks, getting views, getting their articles read. They didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart. So to go after someone saying they're making money doing it, like if I wasn't talking about you and your client and Clayton Echard and his lawyer, I'd be talking about something else, doing the same thing. It's the news story of the day. That's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's petty. It's annoying. And it's frankly just ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I am literally not charging Laura even $1 for any of this PR effort. You're charging her for everything that has to do with her case. Why aren't you doing that for free? Just saying, if I can't make money doing this, why can you make money doing what you do? It's a dumb, petty, stupid argument to make. Yeah. Deep breaths. And trust me, at some future point, Laura is going to seek to recover all her legal fees from Clayton. She has every right to do that if she wins the case. She wins the case. I have no problem with her seeking her legal fees from Clayton and others. Again, the threats against journalists and online people, it's not a good look, man. And when that happens, Laura will have to disclose all her legal bills, including mine. When that day comes, I'll bet you $1 million you won't see a single charge for blogging or tweeting. Okay, she's not my client. I'm going to blog and tweet. Well, I'm not going to tweet. I might tweet, but I'm not going to blog about it. I'll talk about it here. So what? So while I wish this wasn't the case, Clayton's army can't stop talking about Laura. I'm not a member of Clayton's army. And frankly, I don't think the other big people you've named, Dave Neal certainly is not a member of the Clayton army, as far as the way I see it. He's been very respectful, I think, to Laura by not mentioning her name, even though you've said it's okay, which is why I started doing it. He's specifically told people not to contact her, not to bother you, not to bother anybody, to let the system work its way out. He's been inquisitive. He's been inquiring and seeking evidence. Just because they disagree with you doesn't mean that they're in the army of the enemy. It makes you look bad. It makes you look like a bully. And as I mentioned in the early stage of this thing, being the bully is not the good look. Be better. That's all. I just want you to be better. Don't be a bully. And it's like the sixth grader picks on the third grader, and then the third grader turns around and punches the first grader. Don't punch the first grader, man. Just be better. I really don't have any other way to say it. Then this is not a good look for you. All right, wait a minute. I'm out of sync. Here we go. Click down. So Clayton's army can't stop talking about Laura. Again, they're doing this for one reason: to make money from views, clicks. The vast majority of the JFC crew aren't on YouTube. They aren't making money on Twitch or whatever. They're just people that I call them very respectfully and sort of tongue in cheek. The wine box moms. They're the people that really believe something. The same people that if I don't know if Laura has many supporters, if they do, how rabid they are, but we see it in everything. There's people that are always going to support, but the people you're seeing on YouTube and other places aren't the rabid people that are just out for the clicks. This is a legitimate legal story. It's a legitimate news story. It's a legitimate society story. It's a legitimate entertainment story. Because this one case encompasses all of those areas, and there's nothing wrong with people having an opinion or making money. It doesn't make what they have to say. It doesn't make journalists. It doesn't make entertainers. It doesn't make comedians. It doesn't make dorky YouTubers like me. It doesn't make our opinions less valid because we don't currently agree with you. So why you got to go down this negative road like this? You don't see us doing that to you without being antagonized first. If you call someone a cockroach, if you call someone a KKK member, if you wish someone's death, you can't be too surprised when they come back swinging. And again, coming up, here we go. And based on what? I've seen they're spreading lie after lie after lie. It's opinion after opinion after opinion. Submit the evidence and change our opinion. As I've just constantly said, change my opinion. I'm following the evidence, man. I want to see your evidence. I want to see your evidence more than anybody else. If you convince me, I'm supporting your side. We'll have to see where it goes. In that situation, it would be malpractice for me to sit back and ignore those lies. It wouldn't be malpractice. It wouldn't. Not really. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be malpractice for you to sit back and ignore the lies. That's why, because they're not lies. First of all, they're opinions. You aren't compelled to correct their opinions outside of court. That's why I feel compelled to say something in response. That's why I'm here. Rather than pushing back with every detail of Laura's side of the story, that we need the details. That's the problem. Can't you see? That's the problem that people have. If you're going to start talking about it, talk about it. That's why I'm here. Rather than pushing back with every detail of Laura's side of the story, I'm going to take a measured approach. Let's not try to debunk every detail of Clayton's narrative in a single shot. Let's just take this one step at a time. For today's lesson, I'm going to start with one of the easiest and most offensive lies, the moon bump thing. Educate us about the moon bump thing, man. This has been mentioned a lot, but the first time I saw it was in a pleading filed by Clayton's lawyer, Greg Woodnick, on March 11th, 2024. This was Clayton's motion to compel. You've seen it, but let's refresh what Greg told the court. On October 24th, 2023, petitioner appeared on a video in a court proceeding before Judge G. I can never pronounce that name just off the top of my tongue, wearing what appeared to be a fake pregnant stomach, Moonbelly. That's going to be my new blues name, Moonbelly. When I first heard this claim, I have to be honest, it really, really worried me. That is some serious crazy shit to say about someone. Well, it's not really crazy if it's true. It's some serious shit to say about somebody. This lady, who I'm supposed to be defending, showed up in court wearing a fake pregnant stomach. The conclusion is obvious. If Laura actually did this, she must be a stark raving lunatic, totally insane, and that's exactly the purpose of this lie. To make you think that Laura is crazy, because you need to believe Laura is crazy if you want Clayton to get justice. That's a fair argument if it's supported by facts, if it's supported by evidence. So is she crazy? Well, that's the ultimate question you'll have to decide for yourself once you hear all the facts and all the evidence. Exactly. Until we see all of the facts and all of the evidence, it is a perfectly reasonable, rational, acceptable, and okay thing for people to form opinions based on what they have seen, what they have been told, and what's been made available to them. So it's not disingenuous. It's not lying if someone says, hey, I've seen this and this is what I think happened. That's not a lie, man. It's disagreeing with you. Be better. So show the evidence. But let's just talk about the moon bump. So that seems to be one of JFC's critical pieces of evidence. Oops, we're out of sync again. There we go. After all, a licensed attorney, Greg Woodnick, made a written representation to the court that this did happen. Appeared on video before the judge wearing what appeared to be a fake pregnant stomach. Appeared to be. He didn't say it did happen. He said it appeared to be. And there are rules that say a lawyer is not allowed to lie to a court. He said it appeared to be, and it appeared that way to me too. It appeared that way to a lot of people. And if you say something to a judge, there is a separate Rule 26 that says you are making a certification to the court that you conducted a reasonable investigation into the facts before you made that statement, and you are further certifying that your investigation produced evidence to support what you said. Okay, so did Greg Woodnick tell the truth about the moon bump, or did he make it up to support his client's narrative? Or is there the third option where he said it appeared to be this? I have no direct proof as to what Greg knew or didn't know at the time. And I don't know what investigation he performed to support this claim. This is a question he will need to answer later, but let me explain the facts as I understand them. First, there's a detailed affidavit from Laura. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is a good thing. And this is thank you, David Gingras, for being transparent, for being open, and for showing us. I didn't need to do that. I can just click the different screen. I forgot. Thank you for doing this and showing us what we want to see. Here is the affidavit. We'll just read straight through it. Affidavit of Laura Owens. My name is Laura Owens. If called to testify in court, I could and would testify to the following under penalty of perjury based on my own personal knowledge. I am 33 years old. My date of birth is May 14th, 1990. I'm not married and I do not have any children. I'm 5'5" tall and currently weigh around 91 pounds. I am aware that I've been accused of wearing a fake moon bump or moon belly at a court appearance in Arizona on October 24th, 2023. This allegation is totally and completely false. On May 2023, I had a sexual encounter. See, she still doesn't say I had penetrative sexual intercourse with this man. We had vaginal intercourse. We had insertion. She doesn't say, she just says a sexual encounter. Me jerking off is a sexual encounter with myself. Fingering some other woman to orgasm is a sexual experience. Her jerking me off is a sexual experience. Getting a blowjob is a sexual experience. Anything involving sex is by nature a sexual experience. What happened? But anyway, this is an affidavit about the moon bump, not this encounter. I had a sexual encounter with a man named Clayton Echard. I have already spoken about this at length in a sworn deposition taken on March 1st, 2024. As I explained in that deposition, Mr. Echard and I were involved in various sexual activities, including oral sex, which occurred without my consent. And now we get to the meat. As I said, she started out with a sexual encounter. Now she gets into the details. At the same time, Mr. Echard also inserted his penis into my vagina without my consent after I told him that I did not want to have sex with him. This is the ARP allegation. This is extraordinarily serious, which the date on this, the April 19th. This was just the other day. The same day, I believe that the blog post was posted up. She made this. They're going with the ARP allegation. I've got thoughts about that, but now it's serious. And again, this is another thing that made me pull this off the table. This is not funny anymore when you get to this point. This is her sworn affidavit. But yet he previously says, "Oh, she hooked up with this. Hope they get together." I would not describe ARP as hooking up or getting together or having a sexual encounter. It's weird that you would say, here's the gist of it. Clayton Echard, she hooked up with Clayton Echard. She thought she wanted that, she was into him, but he wasn't into her. That's not how you describe your client who was ARPed, who is claiming forcible intercourse. You don't say they hooked up, and it sucks. So it sucks that he wasn't as into her as she was into him. That's just weird, man. That's weird, and that sends these weird mixed messages and mixed signals to people and makes people question why, which is why you shouldn't be writing this shit in the first place. After the events of May 2023, I believe that I became pregnant with Mr. Echard's child. I was not sexually active with anyone else around this time period. According to her own statements, it was a year. And see, I want this to make sense to me. She said, I haven't had sex in a year. You can tell by how tight I am. Woo. I need this resolved in my head because it makes no sense to me. And you don't help when you say it's ARP, and then you say they just hooked up, and it's a shame that he didn't like her as much as she liked him. And all right, anyway, we're digressing again. I was not sexually active with anyone else around this time. So if I became pregnant, the only person who could be the father was Mr. Echard. On May 31, 2023, I took a home pregnancy test which showed a faint positive result. To confirm this, I went to the local Banner Urgent Care facility the next day on June 1, 2023, and told them I might be pregnant and I needed to confirm this. The nurse gave me a test and then informed me the test result was positive for pregnancy. I later told Mr. Echard I was pregnant, and he immediately became hostile and angry. He denied he could be the father. On June 19th, 2023, I went to Mr. Echard's home to discuss the situation with him. I brought the positive pregnancy test to show him, but he refused to believe me. At that time, he gave me a home pregnancy test that he purchased, and he demanded that I take the test in front of him, which I did. And that doesn't jive with what's been said previously either. That test also showed a positive result. On July 23, 2023, I had some bleeding and passed some tissue, which made me worry I might have miscarried. I sent photos of the tissue to a healthcare provider who said it was not clear whether a miscarriage had occurred. A few days later, around July 25th, 2023, I took another pregnancy test to try and determine if I was still pregnant. The test was positive. She said it was fetal sacs, and she had the miscarriage. Again, we've got a shifting miscarriage date. On August 1st, 2023, before I filed my paternity test against Mr. Echard, I took another pregnancy test. The test was again positive. So I got to turn off the. There we go. Between August 1st and early October 2023, I experienced weight gain, especially in my abdomen, as shown in the photos taken on September 19th, 2023. There's her pictures. There have been allegations of photo manipulation, that there appears to be some photo manipulation going on. Do with that what you will. So I appeared in court on October 24th, 2023. I was not wearing a fake moon belly, nor did I do anything of any kind to alter my physical appearance. In fact, I had a blood pregnancy test taken shortly before the hearing on October 16th, 2023, and the blood test confirmed again I was still testing positive for pregnancy. On November 14th, 2023, I went to seek care from a gynecologist facility called MomDoc after I started bleeding. I was worried I may have lost the pregnancy. Below are some excerpts from the records of that visit. History of presenting illness, possible pregnancy. The patient states she had a positive HPT in June, and then had pregnancy confirmed by Planned Parenthood. What about all these other tests? She didn't mention that. I'm asking questions here. She had an initial US there with ultrasound, which showed a twin pregnancy. Where is that ultrasound that showed a twin pregnancy? She did not have subsequent care. She had one ultrasound early on and then never had any prenatal care. All right. That's strange for someone who comes from money and started bleeding a few weeks after the ultrasound. She had an initial ultrasound and then started bleeding a few weeks after the ultrasound. Patient reports she passed 2 sacs, which appeared to have a membrane, but denies having much bleeding outside of that. She was worried about what that could mean and continued to take HPT to assess if she was still pregnant, home pregnancy test. She ordered her own HCG through a Labs Now type place, which showed a very low HCG level. She was told this was not consistent with a viable pregnancy. She reports that she had bleeding last week that was like a period, then lasted 2 days. Is it weird that it seems she's bleeding about once a month? I don't know. She comes to look mom doc to see if she's still pregnant. Pregnancy was unplanned. I was given 2 pregnancy tests at mom docs, and both results showed negative. This is when I learned I was no longer pregnant. When I went to my appointment at mom doc, the nurse had me get on a scale to record my weight. At that time, I weighed 133 pounds, as shown in the excerpt from my medical records below. Fine. I weighed myself on a scale at home a few days ago, and the bump on the scale showed 91 pounds. I've lost over 40 pounds since the moon bump court appearance less than 6 months ago. Gaining 40 pounds, that's a lot when apparently one of your fetuses absorbed the other one. I did not lie about being pregnant with Clayton's child. No, all right. From the first time I tested pregnant on May 31, 2023, until the time mom doc told me I was no longer pregnant on May 14th, I took numerous pregnancy tests, more than half a dozen, including home tests, lab tests, urine tests, blood tests. All those tests, every single one showed a positive pregnancy result. I did not take any drugs, hormones, vitamins, or do anything else to tamper with HCG tests or my HCG levels. I thought she was, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe she said she was a high-risk pregnancy because of her epilepsy. Was she saying she was not taking her epilepsy medicine while she was pregnant? I don't know. Based on every fact known to me, I believe that I was pregnant with Mr. Echard's twins, which unfortunately ended with a miscarriage or other unknown cause in or around mid-November 2023. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America all right, that the foregoing is true and correct. That is her affidavit. That's her sworn statement. That's a gauntlet being thrown down. Those are statements under penalty of perjury. Now, a lot of those statements cannot be proven true or false, but some can. And that's the first shot across the bow. That's the first time that we have seen a definitive statement from her about what happened. And we'll have to see how this goes, because it's all coming to a head in the next couple of months. It's strange, but she's drawn a few lines in the sand. The next step is for this to be submitted to the court. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's bring up the affidavit, not the affidavit, the blog post again. And we'll continue. This is going to explain a little bit about what we just read. Okay, here's the detailed affidavit swearing under penalty of perjury that she did not wear a moon bump or any other form of prosthetic at the court hearing on October 24th, 2023. If you hate Laura and think she's a bad person, she just doubled down on this by putting her denial in writing under oath. If you can prove she's lying, she risks 5 years in prison. She did double down. She's put it down there. If this gets submitted to court, there you go. Second, if you don't want to bother reading her affidavit, which we just did, I'll give you the highlights. Laura's 5'5" tall. She currently weighs 91 pounds. I don't know about you, but to me, that's pretty freaking skinny. Okay. These photos, okay, this here is the first change to this article. Take a look at this photo, not exactly a heavyset person. That was changed to take a look at these photos. Top one is older. The lower one is from April 2024. Not exactly a heavyset person. Would you agree? So this one is older. Sorry, let's get up here. And this one is from this month. Okay, so Laura is Skinny. Don't write like that. This is what makes people think you're 12 years old. You're a professional lawyer. I have never written anything on any document involving my legal profession to say Skinny, like rail skinny. And on October 24th, 2023, the infamous moon bump court hearing, she appeared to be much, much heavier. She was so much bigger, it was shocking. That's what caused some people to claim she's got to be wearing a fake belly. He deleted but is that true? And he added, I guess what these folk were really thinking was, geez, Clayton said she was never pregnant, and here she is on camera looking pretty darn pregnant. How can I explain that? Oh, I know. She's got to be wearing a fake moon bump. Somehow, sadly, that pure speculation has mutated into this is fact. She was wearing a fake moon bump, but it's not. It's nothing but pure absolute speculation. Well, let me tell you why I believe that she was. And I know she's sworn under oath she wasn't, but let me tell you why I think she was. Because she's a pregnant woman. At this point, it was October, so it'd be the end of May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. This would be the 5-month pregnant point, more or less. This is a 5-month pregnant woman who's guzzling Monster energy drinks, which is a horrifically irresponsible thing to do for any parent, any pregnant woman at any point in the pregnancy, to be sucking down massive amounts of caffeine like that. So that's one thing that a pregnant woman would normally not do. 2, she was standing for nearly 2 hours. I don't know many 5-month pregnant women that want to be on their feet any more than they absolutely have to. She had a chair there. And 3, she didn't go to the bathroom once, which pregnant women just do all the damn time. And the big one for me was it appeared to shift up over her breast. It moved, and she made a point of trying to put it there on the camera and was surprised to find that other people were watching that hearing, apparently. So those are the reasons, not because, oh my gosh, she looks pregnant, but he said she's not, so therefore she must be lying. No, that wasn't it at all. It was a rational opinion based upon a set of observable phenomena. That's how I reached that conclusion, that I believe it was a fake moon bump. She's saying it's not. Under oath, she's saying it's not. Well, I'm sure that's going to be something that Clayton's lawyers are going to bring up during the hearings. So don't, and this was something he added too. This was fine left out. This is not what anybody I have ever talked to about this case or have ever seen about this case. This is not something anyone has ever said that I'm aware of. I told you my reasoning, which seems to be similar to the reasoning of other people that have commented on this. Rather than speculating, let's pause, take a breath, and go back on the facts. And go back to the facts, I'm sorry. He said, look at the facts. Minor edit, don't know why I made it. On November 14th, just 3 weeks after the moon bump hearing, Laura went to an OBGYN. Spelling error he had there, changed it from OB-GYM to OBGYN. Okay, that's fair enough. If you have ever been to the doctor's office, you know how this works. When it's your turn, the nurse will call you back, and the first thing that happens is you jump on the scale so they can take down your weight. Guess what? Laura's weight on November 14th, it's right there in the records, which Clayton's lawyer has, so you can read the number for yourself. 133 pounds. Now, what's the big deal? Go back and look at the image of Laura in the white turtleneck. or he changed it. Go look at the two above. And remember, Laura weighed herself a couple of days ago, and the scale said 91.9 pounds. Again, don't take my word for it. Here's the photo Laura sent me. And yes, I'm writing and posting all of this with her express written permission. I wouldn't even if she gave me permission, but that's just me. That's a difference of more than 40 pounds. Now go back and look at Laura's normal figure in the two photos above. Try to imagine adding 40 pounds to that skinny frame. Are you telling me if you added more than 40 pounds to Laura's body, as we know she weighed 133 pounds just 3 weeks after the moon bump hearing, are you telling me you honestly believe she needed to wear fake pregnant belly in court to try to fool people into thinking she was pregnant? Now, this is a delicate thing to say. This is a delicate thing, and I'm just asking questions here. I'm not making any assertions. I'm not making any arguments. I'm not making any claims. I'm just asking a question or thinking out loud. This scale she's on. This scale she's on is a live on go scale. What is a live on go scale? I'm always curious about these things, so I look at things. I'm just saying this. She reportedly lost 40 pounds in 6 months. Well, live on go. This is your path to healthy living starts here. If you sign up for their weight management thing, which it's the healthy living thing. Let's show you how we get here. We go to liveongo.com. They do diabetes prevention, high blood pressure, but they also do weight management. And if we click on the weight management deal, it says sign up and receive an advanced smart scale. That's the scale she was stepping on. Unlimited one-on-one expert coaching, guidance on creating healthy habits that last, all in one weight, activity, and food tracking. Weight loss and healthy living tailored to you. Reach your goals easier with the Live On Go app. So I'm just wondering, it's kind of, how did she lose 40 pounds in 6 months? I'm just questioning. So here we go. This is the Live On Go scale. This is the one we just saw. Did she lose it because it was all the pregnancy weight that was going off of her from her twins of reabsorbing themselves or whatever? Or was she extra large and on a diet program to lose 40 pounds in 6 months? I'm just questioning. I don't know. That's just me asking questions out loud. Hi, Megan. Breaking news over here, Jeff. Uh-oh, we got breaking news. She is apparently, it could be a family member, it could be a parent, I don't know, but all I know that Live On Go came from a weight loss program. You get a free scale if you sign up. I don't know. It's just, I'm just wondering. Live On Go has closed down permanently. Oh yeah. Their website seems to be active, but all right. Live On Go. News? Now there's 5 days ago, Teladoc Health to merge with Livongo to improve services. So they're merging with Teladoc. Top healthcare venture firm, 7wire, just raised $217 million fund. That has nothing to do with this. All right, so apparently they're merging with another company, Teladoc, I guess. So as far as I know, it's not accurate that they disappeared forever. They're just merging. Anyway, that's just me thinking out loud. Oh no, I am. Okay. I thought Megan Fox was breaking news. Apparently I am. It's not a theory because that would imply, some sort of opinion, which I'm not allowed to have. I'm just questioning out loud. It's just interesting that she lost 40 pounds in 6 months, and the picture she takes is on a scale that's provided by a weight loss and weight management program company. See, it's things like this that make me go, maybe there's more to it than just she had a miscarriage and now all of that pregnancy fetal weight or whatever is going away. I don't know. It makes me ask questions that need to be answered. If you can't tell this sort of thing is why I believe when this case is over, Laura should absolutely haul every single member of the JFC crew into court, put them in front of a jury, and ask them to explain themselves. Dude, why? Why you got to do that? Why? Why? Threatening, having a dick measuring competition is not a good look. Threatening people to explain, threatening everyone to drag everyone into court that supports in any way Clayton because they have a different interpretation of facts than you, because they have a different interpretation of evidence that's been made available to them than you. You make me tired. You make me sad. Laura is either completely insane or she is an innocent victim of one of the worst intentional, coordinated, and malicious defamation campaigns I have ever seen. This is not innocent mistakes. These are people who are spreading knowing, intentional lies simply to destroy the life of an innocent girl. See, again, intentionally, knowingly spreading lies. I don't know about that. I don't see it. I don't see that. I see people looking at what they have in front of them. And as I said at the beginning, the very first minute I walked into this case with Dave Neal on the show, I stopped him and said, I have to make it clear that I'm following the evidence, and Laura is more than welcome to come on my show. I will give her 2 hours to tell her side of the story in her own words and present any evidence she wants me to consider. Never took me up on it. And I was not lying when an hour or so ago I said, Dave Gingras, I would love to have you on my channel to sit here and talk about some of these issues with me as far as you are comfortable doing so. It wouldn't be a debate. I don't want to debate this with you. I want to just talk professional to professional and see why some of these things are happening. This is not innocent mistakes. These are people who spread knowing, intentional lies. Well, they have to know it's false, and I don't see them as doing that. MG Law says we can look at the pleadings and watch the hearings. Those alone give us the ability to render opinions on the veracity of our allegations. And again, as we've all said, if we see anything, everybody I know that's covering this case has said exactly the same thing. If we see something that turns the tide and makes us realize, oh my God, she was pregnant with Clayton Echard's kids. We're all going to step up and talk about. We want to talk about these things. We want the whole picture. But hey, I'm just a tramp stamp lawyer, so what the heck do I know? But he deleted this. Having done this myself many times, I can tell you, if Laura sues the JFC crew for defamation, there will be an absolute bloodbath, to use the metaphorical term, like Trump did. Literally, again, the Trump thing. Keep Trump out of it. It does make you look irrational, because Trump has nothing to do with this. Unless folks like Dave Neal have a really, 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 really good explanation for every defamatory thing they have said about Laura, my prediction is by this time next year, Laura's horses will be enjoying some new grazing land out in Tennessee once the Neal family has been evicted from their home after losing a multi-million-dollar defamation case in federal court. This is where it stopped being funny to me. It's where it stopped being fun to joke around and make fun of things that people do and see a little bit of. I said this is why I looked at this on the Wayback Machine, because he went back and deleted this. He deleted that paragraph, but it was in there initially. This one paragraph here was the entire impetus why I wanted to do this now. Have we gone past the 3 hour yet? Or 3 hours and 11-minute stream. Say, Dave, come on, man. Be better than that. You're a professional. You're threatening a journalist, an entertainer, a pundit, a member of the media, whether you like the media or not. You're threatening a member of the media who is days away from giving birth to his first child, with putting his wife and kid out on the street and taking their home away from them for disagreeing with your viewpoint of this. Meanwhile, he is one who's been telling the hardcore JFC people, leave her alone. Don't even mention her name. He's the one that's been trying to make nice. He's the one that's been trying to do this. When you do this, it makes people hate you. When you write things like this. And like I said, before you post this shit, read it, sleep on it, get somebody else to read it, and don't put this stuff in there, because it makes you look bad. It undermines your credibility. It makes people dislike you. And then by extension, it makes them dislike all lawyers, because they think we're all like this. And I don't know what kind of a person you really are. You might be the greatest, funnest guy to hang around with and have a beer with. You might be great to spend a Friday evening out, but you're not showing this. And I hope this isn't the real you. I really, really hope that, because again, it makes people hate me, and because I am a lawyer and they see this is how lawyers act. That's really the thing. That's really the point that I want to make from all of this is you're a member of the bar. You've been called to a high and noble profession. You have every right to aggressively advocate for your client as far as you believe she is being truthful. But you don't have to go to this level. You don't have to descend to the level of calling people KKK members, calling people cockroaches, calling people pond scum, threatening to throw a newborn and his mother and father out on the street, threatening to literally sue everyone that supports your opponent in the public forum with bankruptcy and a bloodbath and all these things. There is no need for that. Rise to the level of your profession. Be the professional that you know you should be. And there's only maybe 2 or 3 years difference in maybe where we've been practicing for the same amount of time. This is like newbie lawyer stuff. Don't do that. Then you don't have to go back and delete this stuff when you realize that you've gone over the line. When you realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said, things disparaging of special ed children. You don't have to go back and correct those if you don't put it there in the first place. Man to man, professional to professional, lawyer to lawyer, be better. Let people have their difference of opinion. Prove them wrong with facts. Prove them wrong with evidence. Bring them over to you that convince them through evidence. That's how you bring people over to your side, not insulting them, not threatening them. Why would that make them want to support you? Why would that make them want to see things your way? It's the old saying, it's easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar. Make people like you. Make people be like his last lawyer who was collegiate with him. I've got nothing really. That's where I was going with all of this. Just, it's sad to see it getting worse and worse and worse. The threats, the comments, the disparaging comments. Nobody, to the best of my recollection, called you tramp stamp lawyer or douche canoe until you went after them first. That's all I got. I got nothing more. That's it. Dave Gingras, if you ever see this, I am very, very serious in my offer for you to come on here and just talk. I mean, that may be something we have to turn chat off for. Because frankly, chat, yeah, sometimes you need to be hauled in a little bit, and you know that. But I would like to think that we could even have chat on a night like that, and you would just listen. But anyway, we're going to send you somewhere else now, people. But don't engage. If you don't engage, he can't say shit about you. I'm disappointed. Daddy's disappointed in someone his own age. It honest to God, I've said this about Judge Grudge in the Hales case. It upsets me. It hurts me when lawyers behave like this, because it drags down our profession to a level. I mean, people don't think good things about lawyers to begin with. Unless they're in trouble, then lawyers are best friends. But people generally don't think about lawyers in a good way to begin with. And this just makes it worse. And why would you do anything that makes it worse? Rise up, and you be better, and let's improve. All right, it's our final call on our like and subscribe poll. And it continued. Come on, people. Like and subscribe. We got 690 of you here, 694 likes. And is lawyer Gingras redeemable? 73% of you say he's gone. He's too far gone. I'm in the 13% category that say he can be if he tries. He has, again, it's the Darth Vader thing. Darth Vader was ultimately redeemed. You can be on the opponent's side. You can be on the side you disagree with and still be likable. Still be professional. 6% of you said his redemption arc is inevitable. In other words, he's going to be forced into a redemption arc. And 8% of you say he has no need of redemption. He's apparently doing things just fine and doesn't need to be redeemed. All right, that's it. There's no way to segue out of this. There's no way to make a joke or go on to something else. What I'm going to do is we're going to see if there's anywhere to send you, and then we'll play our new fair and balanced outro song that we played as an intro song as well, which is a call for peace between the two parties. It's a call for there to be some introspection. It's a call to be better. It's a call for both sides to resolve this matter peacefully. All right, let me see where we're going here. YouTube. Studio. Content. Thank you, everybody. We picked up a few subscriptions. While I'm doing this, if you haven't subscribed, please get down there. It looks like we've picked up about 15 subscribers since this started, so that'd be kind of awesome. If we could get some more, pop on in there and hit that subscribe button so I can get some more breadstick money. Share the breadsticks. Looks like we've got this is our go-to every night now, probably for the next year. The Nick Starro Young Thug Rico trial. Now that's where we're going to go. All right, peeps. With that, it's time for me to give you the outro song, which was also our intro song. Again, as I say, it's a twisted tale of, he said, she said, and a call for lawyers to be better, lawyers to find a peaceful resolution, and to get along and be nice to each other. Let's put this out here right now. Well, I'm big in that. Oh, stop. We're not ready for you yet. What have I done? All right. I didn't share the screen. Chat, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so much for talking to each other. Mods. Thank you, mods. Seriously, thank you. But, love you guys to death. Let's agree to be nice and to agree to disagree with everybody. Guys, everybody, chat, mods, trolls, everybody, love each other. Be nice. Let's have fun and enjoyment here. There's enough going on that this should be a place where we can all sit and enjoy each other's company. Love you guys. Let's see what we got to see here. Play our outro song. We'll talk to you tomorrow when we're going to look at some of the supporting documents submitted by the petitioner, Laura Owens' lawyer, David Gingras. We'll look at some of the stuff tomorrow that have been submitted in support of her case. We'll talk about that then. Until then, take care, people. And remember, be better. Love you guys. See ya tomorrow. And bye.
Well, she met him at a home one night. Said, let's start with a kiss, it'll be all right. But now she might have a bun in the oven times two, and neither of them knows what to do. It's a blow by blow. Who's the daddy show? Is it twins from a blowjob? Oh, I don't know. Paternity tests and lawyers in sight. This crazy situation just ain't right. He swears he's not the one to blame. Says it's biologically insane. But she's pointing fingers, shouting loud, while the lawyers gather in the legal crowd. It's a blow by blow. Who's the daddy show? Is it twins from a blowjob? Oh, I don't know. Paternity tests and lawyers in sight. This crazy situation just ain't right. Now legal advice says he takes a drink, says let's settle this without the legal stink. He challenges her lawyer, please be better. We don't need another bad letter. So let's raise a glass to this legal brawl. May sanity prevail and pride take a fall. Twins from a blowjob, what have you to hide? But let's find some peace, let your conscience be your guide.